We've traded away our
Yo,
first round pick. I'm the Falcons. I've traded away my first round pick and given Kirk Cousins a 10-year max deal.
that
See,
sounds about right.
I told you, just a robber rouser. He can't help himself.
Gary coming on, stirring the pot, everyone. I believe we're live,
Listen.
correct?
Yeah, we're live. We're officially live. I mean, we didn't do like the intro because it's let's just go right into this, So I'll get my screen squared away because I'm still not sure why there's a problem with this, but it's all
shit.
good. Hey,
we beefing.
we live. We live. So this is what we're doing. Special Talking
My
Sports
bad.
12 man. It's something that we wanted to do basically to do a show for the draft. I mean, so man, this is great. Again, we're gonna throw the numbers. Follow us on X Twitter at the number 12 THMAN Sports. We are on YouTube at another 12 Man Sports, and this is exciting. So, Rob, we're gonna do a quick little intro, and then literally in about what looks like 20 minutes or so, the draft will be live. Does everyone have something to drink? I got something to drink. Y'all got something to indulge?
Oh yeah, wait. Hold on. I was trying to get on here because I was late.
Yeah.
I got multiple things.
Yeah, we knew that. We knew that.
You know who the real lush is of the group, right? See if you got multiple drinks.
I hate y'all.
He's like T-Pain. I'm gonna buy you a drink.
Rob, do you have anything?
I'll have some shortly.
Okay.
I bet he will. Man, the NFL draft is in Detroit, right? So it's just what a
Green
lot
Bay.
of people out there. Green Bay. It's in Green Bay. Oh, it is in Green Bay. I just said Green Bay. Chilling out in Green Bay. I just saw that pop on the screen.
To go to the draft.
Yeah, it is.
I didn't know
It
that.
is.
Did you?
I just saw that pop up where it says in Green Bay. Somebody said Detroit for something. I'm like, what?
It was in Detroit last
Green Bay.
year.
I just saw this pop.
Rob, did you know that it was free?
Yeah.
We
to go
came
to
all the way from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Did you know that it was free to go to the draft?
I didn't know. I hadn't really looked into it, to be honest.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I just heard. I was watching ESPN, and they had mentioned that. Goodell had mentioned that, and I thought, wow, I thought that was neat. A lot of people that can't go to something, and then in this area, they've got more people here at this draft than they have in Green Bay.
Green Bay. Look at that. That is in Green Bay.
More.
Oh my God.
I mean, like,
yeah. Green Bay is the smallest market in all of professional sports.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. It's only a couple 100,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, they're the one that a lot of the.
I'll be going through Green Bay here in another couple months. Not about another month. I'll be back in that area.
Oh man, sorry to hear
that. I'll be all over the place.
We're having some fun. Hey, let's again, for everyone that's listening in, I know that shout outs and stuff like that. We're having fun, and Rob, I appreciate your last mock draft. We're gonna wait for JQ to come back because the draft before the last mock draft, we had the Falcons taking a wide receiver, Mbeka Mboku. So from Ohio State, I was about to have a riot. If that actually happened, but again, not because I love Ohio State wide receivers, but because the fact it's a wide receiver at number 15.
My last two mocks said y'all taking defense. You must be thinking about the older draft.
I said 1 day ago. Hold on, it was the one if I looked at it most recently.
I've had two final mocks.
7 hours.
I think yesterday I had Will Johnson. I think my last one has the Falcons taking Malachi Starks from Georgia.
Yeah, Malachi Starks, one that's like 7 hours ago. Okay, that's one that
How
I'm
far
looking
down
at.
do you have Sanders fallen?
Well, what's interesting is my mock that I did last night, I actually had him going at the top of the second round with Cleveland. But I actually have got him going back in the 20s now. So I got the Rams moving up to 22 to get him in my latest mock. So I think somewhere around around Pittsburgh or the Rams or Cleveland or the Giants trading into the 20s to get him.
Oh, you robber rouser for real.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Rams are fun. So everyone, any comments before? Like, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of surprises, some shocks here, as far as what's happening. We've heard some intel that the first couple of picks, there's not going to be a quarterback from what we're hearing besides Cam Ward going number 1. But other than that, it's pretty much lying season now, as they say, right?
Oh yeah. So
Well,
there's
I
gonna
mean,
be some surprises, right? But we'll see when the first surprise comes, and that's typically when the draft officially starts. When the first surprise comes, right? We have it every year. At some point in the top 10, we're gonna have a surprise, and that's when the draft officially starts. We see that on a yearly basis. So it's almost given that Cam Ward's going to go number 1. So I think we'll be completely shocked if that doesn't happen for sure. And
I still think the Giants are lying. The Giants have a good defense, but they don't have a damn quarterback. I believe Cleveland. Well, the Giants signed those 2 fools.
Giants aren't going to go.
Yeah, they signed Jameis.
They got their guy.
Right.
No, they don't though. If you got to sign 2, that means that you know that you don't have 1. I will always
got
have
1. Yep.
I gotta watch it to believe that the Saints, the Giants, and the Browns don't drive a quarterback. I think Cam Ward's going to the Titans. We're in a league where you have to have a quarterback. Like, it's hard to win with Trent Dilfer right now with the caliber of quarterbacks that are going on in the league. Like, that's gonna be hard to do. I believe it when I see it. I'm not saying it's not gonna happen, but really, like, those 3 teams need a quarterback. The Saints, the Carr might not even play this year.
Mhm.
Are you going?
well, no, there's no question that those teams need quarterbacks, right? But you gotta. Does the pick match the grade? Is going to be the question here, right? I think all 3 of those teams could very well come out of this draft with a quarterback, but at what point? I just don't see it happening in the top 10, right? Because the player doesn't fit the grade. You can't reach for a guy.
When has that stopped him before?
So what?
When's that ever stopped him before?
Well, I mean, you can reach, but I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I think Shedeur Sanders and Jackson Dart are second-round picks, in my opinion, right? And I think 2 of them are probably going to go in the bottom of the first. But you can't pick them at 3 and 4 and 5 and 9, right? I mean, that's just too big of a reach.
Nick Saban
right,
said that Shedeur Sanders will be the most NFL-ready quarterback, and given an opportunity with a team maybe in that mid to late first round, like the Steelers or whoever, that he could be that guy that could win rookie offensive player of the year.
Yeah. They talked about it, and it's a big thing, though. I get what you're saying, Rob. Like, the draft capital at the top of the round may not match it, but then you're going to have to give up. And I want to see what those packages look like if you trade back into the back of the first round, because you get that 5th-year option, right? And you give it a chance to give it 1 more year to evaluate that quarterback and keep him for somewhat on the cheap. So that's why I think everybody's saying that back of the first round, like Lamar Jackson with the Ravens, and everybody said he was going to have to switch to play running back or wide receiver, and they come back and get him. You have those situations occur, but if that happens, you had to give up. You still had to give up draft capital as opposed to using it. But if you don't, and you let a Steelers or one of those teams that have a decent team, and you let them get a quarterback, and he turns out to be good, you're going to be kicking yourself for saying, "Oh, he wasn't worth that great." If you believe in that guy, you go get him. And all of this following with Shedeur was, we came into after the season talking about Shedeur being a top 10 pick. Like, it was him and Cam Ward. Now we got to the point now where they ain't played no more games, to where now he's a 2nd-round pick. Like, I never thought Jackson Dart was a 1st-round pick. I did, but I thought Shedeur
he's moving up.
Well, here's the thing with Jackson Dart too. Jackson Dart is a quarterback that has more mobility than Shedeur Sanders, right? So he has an opportunity to extend plays where Shedeur doesn't really have that capability, right? Now, I think Shedeur is the most accurate quarterback in this draft. I've said that on this show quite a few times, right?
He was moving in the pocket, Rob.
He doesn't have the strongest of arms, and he doesn't have the ability to take off 20, 30 yards down the field like some of these other guys have in his
neither did Peyton Manning. Same thing they said about Peyton. Armstrong wasn't great.
Cam Ward, or Jalen Milroe, those kind of quarterbacks there. But I do think he's the most accurate quarterback in the draft.
Listen, I'm waiting to laugh for whoever drafts Jalen Milroe.
And look, here's the thing with Jalen Milroe.
Maybe the Giants, and maybe the Giants.
Look
JQ.
at.
I think Jalen Milroe's got a long way to
was
go.
also the most pressured quarterback and the most sacked quarterback, I think, as
You
well.
talking about
So he was able to. I'm talking about Sanders. He was
Yeah.
running for his. He was running for his life.
Yes.
He was able
Well,
to
he
move
didn't have
around.
protection at all.
No, listen. I
You
think
know,
that's,
so
think
you
that's
get him
smart.
in a team in that later first round that's got an offensive line, and they can work the game plan around this kid. As accurate as he is, shit.
But my thing is also that Pittsburgh's offensive line is not great. So everybody mocking him to Pittsburgh to be in the same situation he was basically just in Colorado, to me, is wild. I mean, I like Shedeur. I think this is nonsense, which is what's happening. I really do think
If they did draft Shedeur, I would draft nothing but offensive linemen the rest of the draft.
Yeah, they don't have a great offensive line. So you talk about the Giants
Right.
not drafting because of that. I'm like, well, Pittsburgh's offensive line is not great if you watch it.
Yeah.
It's not.
And you
Well,
got.
I think that's
and
the
you
range
allow-
he could get picked. I think he could get picked possibly to Pittsburgh at 21. He could go to the Rams somewhere in the 20s, or like I said, one of those teams maybe coming into the back end.
The Rams is a great spot for him.
Well, he gets to sit a couple of years.
Yes. And they have a good offensive line. They nail their draft picks.
And they got a smart
give
coach.
Lefty
that's
a
gonna
lot of
know
credit.
They got a
the game
quarterback
plan
friendly
for the
coach.
kid.
Yeah, and you got a quarterback that he can learn from that hopefully he embraces him and say, hey, I'm playing 2 or 3 more years. It's your gig after that.
He seems like that type of a guy to me. I don't know him.
I think that's a good guy.
He
I do.
seems
That's
like
that's to me. That's an ideal spot for him for the Rams on the low. That's what it was like. I don't know who you talking to there, Robert Ford, but that's a fantastic landing spot for him.
Oh, don't be surprised if the Rams pick a quarterback in the first 3 rounds of this draft. I mean, they're looking for their future quarterback, even if they have to sit him for a couple of years until Matt Stafford's retired, right? So that would not be a surprise at all for the Rams to take somebody that they can develop for the next couple of years.
I agree. They was getting ready to get off of Matthew Stafford in this offseason. So them taking a quarterback in this draft wouldn't be surprising to me. We haven't talked about that being a potential landing spot in all of our conversations. So
Rob,
I don't know where you pulled that rabbit out of your hat from, but also I was like, ooh, that's
Rob, what do you think about that,
landing
Walter? You've got us taking Ole Miss, Walter Nolan. Is that his name?
Huh.
Yeah, Walter
Yeah,
Nolan.
I like Walter Nolan now. I think he's a athletic defensive tackle.
Yeah,
He's got pass rush ability. He's also, I think he can play the 3 technique too, right? He's got pass rush ability and he can stop the run. So I like Walter Nolan a lot.
I
know
do
from
too.
my perspective, I've had him anywhere from 10 to 30. But right now I got him going 12 to the Cowboys, and something that the Cowboys need, right? They need
Oh
someone
gosh,
that can
get
run.
rid of that freaking
Ozzie
Mozzie
Smith from Michigan
Please,
has kind of been a bust for the Cowboys.
Send him to Cincinnati.
No, fuck that. That's why I don't want Mason Graham either.
For
Listen,
their
I'm waiting
first
on
round
Mason Graham
pick.
in fall of 17. Hell no. We already got Chris Jenkins Jr. and I can't buy the jersey because my last name is Jenkins, but his ass went to Michigan, so now I can't buy the jersey. So thanks, Cincinnati. I was like, ooh, I could buy a jersey and I have to put my own last name on it. I said, well, wait, I'm not buying a Michigan player's Bengals jersey. Fuck that. So I listen, I like Walter Nolan. I would love for him to come and get inside for Cincinnati. But I don't, like you said, it's volatile. What I don't want the Bengals to do, honestly, is 2 things. Don't reach for need, and don't take any more players with bad character concerns because it doesn't work out. It may work out for this long,
Damn
but
it!
it doesn't work out. Like I don't want homeboy from Tennessee. He's wild. He's crazy.
He's not crazy. He's passionate.
People have taken him off their draft boards because he's so wild. So Pierce. Yeah, but I don't listen. I don't want no more perfects in my life. I want somebody that's stable and that can play. So I would rather take somebody with a little less talent that's stable and take the person with more talent that's crazy that you can't count on being there from week to week. That's all I want us to do is break the mold of reaching.
Lawrence Taylor was crazy. Lawrence Taylor was crazy.
A diamond in the listen. That's not the norm. That food we took from
We're gonna come out here like a bunch of crazed dogs.
that food I took from Alabama. Wide receiver
that guy was just,
took Burton. Can't stay on the field. get suspended multiple times in your rookie year. You know how bad you got to be fucking up to get suspended for multiple games in your rookie year? You know, in Cincinnati, this ain't Vegas. This ain't Miami. This ain't LA. This ain't New York. I can see getting in trouble in those cities. You know how bad you got to be to get suspended in Cincinnati for multiple games. And everybody was like, yeah, he was fucking up. And nobody's mad at the suspension.
Well, yeah, he was out past 8 o'clock, I think, one time.
See, that's that bullshit. That's your bedtime, okay?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's mine. You're right. That's my
yeah. So easy.
What else, JQ? So you don't want the Bengals to draft any more character concern guys. Check.
Listen,
what else?
My thing is, if
That's it.
You got a running back, you signed your wide receivers, you got your quarterback. I've told you before, Andy Reid, he saved his legacy in his career by getting to Kansas City and winning those Super Bowls. But I was always an Andy Reid fan because he drafts in the trenches.
Yep.
Offensive lineman, defensive lineman, get you another one, right? If one don't pan out, don't be mad to trade him or cut his ass, but keep the best ones of all of those and build from the inside out. That's what I want us to do. Protect the passer and rush the passer.
Yeah, you know, that's a great point because even when the Saints were successful under Sean Payton, if you look at all the Saints draft, they were drafting offensive and defensive linemen every year. You think of Sean Payton, he's always drafted these toys, wide receivers, running backs, and things of that nature. But he always drafted those guys in the second, the third, and the fourth round, right? He always drafted offensive and defensive linemen. They kept a successful offensive line. And
that's not Drew Brees was able to throw for 50,000 yards.
50,000 yards every year. Yeah, every year. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what football is won.
Hey, Rob. So my barber is a Saints fan. Bless her heart. She's a fan of Spencer Rattler, and I was like, I can't really talk about this.
She's related. Don't worry. She's related.
Now listen, this is not Saint shade. I have told y'all since we've been on this podcast when he was at Oklahoma and he took a sorry ass to South Carolina that he wasn't that dude. And this is a long running thing for me. So this is don't at me, Saints fans. It's not about that. Which is why I was so surprised. They were like, "Well, we're not going to draft a quarterback in that." And I said, "Really? What?" Once they really bring Carr back, I said, "Okay, we have seen Carr have flashes where he gets hot and he destroys people." But once Carr's injury came out, I said, "You got Spencer Rattler, and that's it." What?
No, you have to address the position. Yeah, I mean, and look, I agree with you exactly what you said. Even from a Saints perspective, I don't want to reach for any need, and that includes a quarterback, right? The Saints are in no position to win the Super Bowl next year. If we have to play for the long game and build the roster until we get a quarterback, I'm totally comfortable with that. I know Saints fans don't want to hear that, right? But you got to play the long game, build your roster, put your team in a situation to once you get a quarterback, you can be successful. And now, look, you know, I'm fine if the Saints draft a quarterback as long as it's the right value when we pick a quarterback. And right now, unless Cam Ward miraculously fall to 9, which I don't
Stop
see
that shit.
Then there's no other quarterback worth taking in this draft at 9.
Well, let me ask you this question, honestly. So, having said that, as a Saints fan going into this season, and I don't disagree with you that you're not a quarterback away from winning the Super Bowl because you're not. But if you know that Derek Carr is not going to play and you don't like Spencer Rattler, are you punting on the quarterback group as a whole this year? Or which quarterback would you like to have if he falls into X round? I mean, be realistic.
Oh, no.
It's not falling to 9. So I'm saying like in rounds 2, 3, and 4, as a Saints fan, you're like, we need a quarterback. I'm targeting X.
I would say if Shedeur Sanders falls to the second round, I don't see that happening. But yeah, I'll take him there for sure. If Jackson Dart falls to the second round, yes, absolutely, I would take him there. And I'll even go a step further. If Jalen Milroe's at 40, I would take him. And here's what I'm thinking with Jalen Milroe.
Ooh, you take Jalen Milroe in the second round?
Not so much from a quarterback perspective. I think if you have the right vision with Jalen Milroe, you can do a lot of gadget things with.
He's the Black Taysom Hill.
Yeah, the Black Taysom Hill. You're right. He's faster. He's explosive. You said it. I didn't.
Kyle Warren is that guy.
Waste of high-
Too,
Waste of high
Kyle Warren is that
pick
guy
on
too.
You
Though.
can do
No.
so many things
That's
with
a
them. You can do
6th,
so many
7th
key
round
plays
thing.
with them. So there's a lot of things that you can do if you got the right vision. The tush push, right? You know, Kellen Moore's coming from Philadelphia. You can use him for those kind of situations, right? So I think with the right mindset and the right creativity, he might not be there as a quarterback yet, but there's so many other things you can use him from a gadget perspective.
Okay, that's fair. So wait. So that means you don't. Would you take Milroe over the kid from Louisville if they were both available at 40?
That's a tough one. Now look, Show is a better pure quarterback at this time. He doesn't have the mobility that Milroe has, right? Or nobody has the mobility in this draft.
Yeah,
Milroe
no.
So I mean, that's not a fair comparison. And look, I think Show and Kyle McCord could be some good guys to take a chance on in the 3rd round, right? I think there's some guys that can possibly be there. You take a chance. Now, that's the value. You taking a chance on that guy, and maybe somebody giving us a shout out to Louisville. Woo, Louisville. But anyway, somebody giving us a shout out about Louisville. But I think those are guys that you can take a chance on. I mean, Kyle McCord had a hell of a year this past year for Syracuse.
Stop that shit because he wasn't playing nobody at Syracuse. Y'all stop it. You saw him when he had to play people in. Stop it. The Kyle McCord love is wild to me. You have seen him.
You love Shedeur Sanders, right?
I do.
His competition was just the same as Kyle McCord's was at Syracuse. The same level of competition. Well, I mean, I don't think that's fair. You say he didn't play anybody.
No, you
Shedeur
don't.
Sanders didn't play anybody in Colorado either.
The Big 12 was better than the ACC was.
Wow.
How many teams did the ACC have in the playoffs? How many teams did the Big 12 have in the playoffs?
What happened to those ACC teams?
What happened to the Big 12 team?
They both went home together.
Exactly.
Oh, damn.
My point exactly.
They
We're
went
home together.
Shit on a buddy pass.
No.
Oh man.
My point exactly.
I watched. Listen, okay. So let me back that up. Just outside of the competition, I'm an Ohio State fan. I watched Kyle McCord when the pressure was the most and the lights were the brightest in those big games that I don't think that Colorado with Shedeur necessarily had or McCord had at Syracuse, where the view of the nation is on this game for the implications that was going to happen. And I watched him shrink. I just don't believe that when I watched him shrink in college with all and he had way more talent around him in Ohio State than Shedeur had overall in Colorado and that McCord had at Syracuse. And I watched him not be able to take that to the next level. I just have a hard time saying that guy I watched with all that talent shrink in the biggest moments. I'm going to draft him in the NFL where it's going to be harder and more magnified, and I think he's going to do something different. That's why I'm not a McCord believer.
No, that's fair, right? And look, I think Kyle McCord got better year over year, right? You saw that improvement, and he was a year older, he was a year mature. Obviously, he went to another situation. I think he learned from it, right? It actually had another level of focus in his last year with Syracuse, right? So, would I take Kyle McCord in the first, second round? No. But is he worth taking a flyer on in the 3rd or 4th? Absolutely. I take a chance on him.
I take Will Howard.
Where do you think Quinn Ewers, Rob? Where do you think?
I personally believe, and I truly believe this. If Kyle McCord would have stayed in Ohio State one more year, he could have did exactly what Will Howard did this past year.
Listen, we can agree to disagree. I don't believe that shit at all. Not at all.
Uh-oh.
I would take Kyle McCord over Will Howard in this draft.
Oh my God. I don't understand it. I watched Will Howard play the game against Notre Dame. He played a tougher defense. He didn't have to do as much because the running game took over, and then he just threw a good pass to Jeremiah Smith. But I watched Kyle McCord. I watched Will Howard fucking play 3 really, really good games when all the pressure was on him and he was going to get all the hate like he got after they lost to Oregon the first time. I just don't know more. Listen, I'm not saying advocating for taking him in the first round. That's ridiculous. I'm not saying that. But putting Kyle McCord over him when you just watched this dude play in some of the hardest games and excel, I just don't understand that. If everything is almost equal, I'm gonna give it to the dude that I just watched excel against.
Yeah,
tough.
and that's the thing. From an evaluating standpoint, that's the thing you got to evaluate, right? Will Howard had incredible talent all around him, right? Ohio State, we all know, was the most talented team in college football this past year, right? He had the receivers. Jeremiah Smith was in his draft. He'd be a top 5 pick, right? As young as he is.
He go number 1.
Emeka Ibuka, right? Look at the offensive lineman he had at Ohio State. All those guys gonna get drafted. Seth McLaughlin,
Calvin McCord had all that same kind of shit. He still sucks.
He had another year. You seen Will Howard at Kansas State?
Well, yeah, I did.
So wasn't he better with Ohio State?
I'll give you that because
yes, because he had better personnel around him, right? All those guys on that offensive line gonna get drafted. Simmons, Donovan Jackson, Seth McLaughlin. All those guys on the Ohio State line is going to get. Look at those wide receivers. They're going to get drafted.
Look at Roger.
Two running backs. They're going to get drafted in the first round of this draft. And then you look at the defensive personnel Ohio State had this past year too, right? Will Howard did not look that good in Kansas State. He got to Ohio State.
Listen, he didn't. I watched Cal McCord, and I wanted Cal McCord to be so good. So maybe it's just personal for me. I wouldn't take Cal McCord over Will Howard.
Yeah.
And Will Howard's built like freaking Josh Allen. He built just like him.
Okay, Rob, let's get off this for a second. Where do you think Quinn Ewers is going to fall?
I think Quinn is going to go somewhere in the. I think he's somewhere in the 3rd round, in my opinion. And look, maybe even in the 4th round. Well, Quinn Ewers, right? Yeah. You know, I don't envision him as someone that's going to be your everyday starter in the NFL. I envision he's going to be a clipboard holder for most of his career that can probably come in a pinch, right? So he's not the kind of guy I envision to be your franchise quarterback for sure.
Okay.
Shout out to Jenny Johnson with the Louisville comment. Yeah, we got Tyler Show in the conversation.
Yep. That is my Jenny Johnson.
Let's go.
Okay. All right.
That's your Jenny Johnson? Okay, Jenny, shout out.
That's my daughter.
Hey, it's awesome. The NFL draft is officially kicked off. It's hilarious to see Roger Goodell and everyone come out.
JQ waving his flag back there.
And the booze.
Well, they take the bikes.
125,000
You saw people. It's crazy,
man.
You know they take the bikes during training camp.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. Absolutely. Anyway, we're just excited because the draft's kicking off. Obviously, Tennessee's on the clock. You know, again, we've heard a lot of things. You've been lying. You know, a lot of smoke screens. There's been some rumors, Rob, of Ashton Gentry going in the top 4. Who knows?
I have him 5 right now to Jacksonville.
You know,
I have him 12 to the Cowboys.
Yeah,
no chance.
Yeah, it's
Cowboys.
Nobody knows.
The Raiders.
Mm-hmm. I think he can even go to New England or Jacksonville ahead of the Raiders.
Listen,
I have him going to Jacksonville at 5 though.
If New England don't take the best offensive lineman sitting right there to protect Drake May, they're committing malpractice.
Yep. I mean, I have Will Campbell going number 4 to New England, and I have Gentry going 5 to Jacksonville in my latest mock.
They're not that smart of an organization.
Oh my goodness!
Watch the Bears. I hear the Bears. I hear the Bears are going to move up with Gentry, so watch them too.
I just don't understand. I guess the ETN hate when you get Trevor Lawrence hurt, and I feel like the Jaguars should go same thing in the trenches, build it up, new coach, rush the passer, protect the passer, keep ETN. You got Thomas from LSU last year. He's a monster. Like, what are we talking about? That to me, that's a luxury pick for Jacksonville. Yeah, Jacksonville has bigger needs to take Gentry, and it's no knock on Gentry. It's about what Jacksonville, to me, needs.
Well, you know, the new head coach in Jacksonville came from Tampa Bay, and no, I agree with you, right? And you know, last year, one of the highlights in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense was the 1-2 punch they had at running back, right, with Rashard Wright and Bucky Irvin. So, you know, I think he's maybe trying to recreate that. And look, I agree that it is somewhat of a luxury, right? You know, you got Mason Graham there, you got Kelvin Banks there from Texas, you got Armand Membo, who I really like a lot, offensive lineman from Missouri there too.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, there are a lot of options. And look, Genty, I believe, has Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey kind of ability. At the running back position as far as catching the ball out of the backfield, the one cut in the zone block scheme as well. I mean, I think he's got that kind of ability. And so, hey, you need 2 running backs in this day and age. And, I think he may be envisioning the same thing he had in Tampa last year with Bucky. And Bucky Irvin was a steal in the draft last year.
No, listen, we didn't take Bucky Irvin in 5.
Yeah.
Is my point. You know what I mean? But they had more things available around him. You already had your wide receivers. You had good interior.
Yeah.
He doesn't have those things walking into Jacksonville. That's why I say it's too much of a luxury pick. Build it up. You want to get you what? Listen, you got running backs in this draft. You can get you a solid running back at the top of the second round that is not that far gone from Genty, right? So get you. It doesn't do no good to have. I
don't disagree with you. I'm just saying what his vision might be.
Yeah,
and,
I was watching first take, and Mina and Ryan Clark made a good point. It's no point in spending that high draft capital or money on a free agent running back if your offensive line sucks. Like, if you want to get that running back and you have the structure to, support him, that's fantastic. But it's almost like the Giants with Saquon. The offensive line sucked when they drafted him, and we saw glimpses of it. But you didn't get the full thing because that front line sucks.
They didn't have that.
You go to Philadelphia with that awesome offensive line. He has a 2,000-yard season, and he could have probably broke Dickerson's record if he really had wanted to. Like, why do that at 5 if you don't have the things to support him and then make him seem like he's a bust because he's got to make 5 people miss to get 6 yards? Like, don't do that thing.
Or spend the next 2 or 3 drafts time to draft around him, and by that time he's so beat up, he's not the same kid.
Or even if he is, he's ready to leave this bullshit because they don't have to in Duval County. Nobody wants to spend their life in Jacksonville. So sorry, but it's true.
Jacksonville is just South Georgia.
Listen, it's just the biggest county in the country, but nobody wants to go live in Jacksonville for real. They don't.
Oldest city in the world. Hey, Will Levis is in the back throwing passes. He's ready. Will Levis is trying to pick me, coach. Put me in, coach.
I'm gonna put you in. I'm gonna put your ass in the bargain bin.
Comes down to the United States Football League.
He's going to take Omarion Hampton.
Those games are trash, man.
Rob, who do you think? Who do you have Omarion Hampton going to? Is he a first rounder still?
Yeah, I have him going number 20 to Denver, right? I think Denver is all in on the running back position. I think they could be all, even though they signed Evan Ingram at the tight end position. Evan Ingram is 45 years old, right? So they're all in on the tight end position. They're all in on the running back position. So I got them taking Omarion Hampton at 20 right now.
They don't need their defense is good.
Mm-hmm.
Offensive line is still also pretty good. Once you saw Javonte go to Dallas, you know they were keyed in on the running back.
Yep. That's why I have Omarion going number 20. But yeah, don't be surprised. I mean, I think he'll be a reach at 12 for Dallas, but wouldn't be surprised if Dallas take him too.
No, they ain't. Listen, I would talk about Jerry and Steven. They draft well. They might talk crazy and do nothing in free agency, but you gotta give Dallas credit. For the most part, Dallas drafts pretty well. So I'm not going to project them now.
I'll be surprised if the only way they would draft. Let's see here. The kid from Arizona, the wide receiver from Arizona, McMullen or whatever his name is.
I like him a lot.
I do too. I think that it would be him. I'd like to see Dallas pick him if Gentry wasn't available, and if not, hey, I'm okay with a defensive tackle, offensive line. Let's go to the trend.
We don't think Gentry's going to be there for you, Gary. We don't think Gentry's going to be there. That's the thing.
But see,
so you
guys aren't picking, so I'm still in the running for him. I'm just saying we have our wish list, right?
Yeah, Gentry doesn't get past the Raiders if he's still there, and he might even be going before the Raiders.
He does not get past the Raiders.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's whenever back in the day, and I always reference this with Rob, I wanted Glenn Dorsey, and Rob was like, you're taking Matt Ryan. I was like, no, we're
No,
not.
not
No,
Glenn
I
Dorsey.
fought it. He's like, Matt
Wow.
Ryan's your guy. This was
Okay,
back in the
listen,
day.
I remember that debate
I just
Andre
didn't
had back in the day. Yeah, I told him the Falcons taking Matt Ryan. He didn't believe me.
I mean, I fought him the whole time, and then I was like, yeah, it looks like it's gonna be Matt Ryan, and then next thing you know, Matt Ryan. I was like,
yeah,
here we
it's
go.
always gonna be a quarterback over a
It
defensive
was just one of
end
those
and tackle. Stop it.
I know, but that was the delusion at the time. I just didn't want to believe. I didn't want the guy because I was like, I didn't think he was. I thought he was all right. I was like, man, Boston College, and obviously he had a pretty great career. And I'm not gonna shit on him, but it was just one of those things where
yes, and you know who he is? He's the white Shedeur Sanders, and he went number 1 overall. And I'm like, well, wait, Matt Ryan don't have the greatest arm strength. Does Matt Ryan athletic? No, he's just in the pocket. He dissects. He's precise. He's accurate. So what we talk about with Shedeur Sanders drives me wild. I'm like, there was a time where if you had all those qualities that he has, you still would go number 1.
Yeah,
but you just said a little while ago he didn't play anybody. Well, Matt Ryan didn't play anybody either in college.
That's true. But look at Matt Ryan's career though. Like it's not like it's a bum. Like he won an MVP.
Yep. Went to the Super Bowl.
They blew it, but how many people have not won an MVP?
Yep.
So,
and believe it or not, Drew Brees has never won MVP. He's won Offensive Player of the Year, but he's never been MVP.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Even won MVP. Shouldn't have won Offensive Player of the Year either.
Mm-hmm. See, that's just Satan.
So Gary, since we're not picking,
oh my God,
you're holding. Yeah, Gary's on fire. He's on fire tonight. So Gary, you're holding out hope that Ashton Gentry is going to be there for the Cowboys. You're hoping everyone just
flubs up
and is like.
Well, I mean that was my first wish, but I mean I would even be okay with them. But if they get a defensive tackle or a offensive lineman of some sort, or I would even be okay with them getting Hampton at 12. I'd be fine with that, and I don't think that's a reach. I think he's going to be a fantastic.
Okay.
Did anybody?
Well, guys, the pick is in.
You know who it is. We can just talk through this. You know it's Cam Ward. Listen, I know I'm a homer, but
the Browns
again,
have traded the number 2 pick to the Jaguars.
Who has?
The Browns have traded the number 2 pick to the Jaguars.
The Browns.
Wow, they're not taking Gentry at 2.
No, Travis Hunter. Is it Travis Hunter?
See, you just
it's not a quarterback.
Just takes 2 more things like this to happen.
There it is.
Right? 2 more things.
So the Jaguars are on the clock now. Yep.
Wow.
Cam Ward. I mean, Cam Ward, number 1 pick in Tennessee. No surprise here. And the thing I love about this Cam Ward story, this guy was a 0-star recruit coming out of high school. So he's worked his tail off to get where he is. Went to Incarnate Word, put up big time numbers. Transferred to Washington State, put up big time numbers. Went to Miami, played in the ACC. And put up big time numbers as well. So the thing you like about him is his mobility. He can improvise too, right? He can buy time in the pocket. He's got the arm strength. He improved his accuracy as well, right? So definitely the best quarterback in this draft, no doubt about it. But the story itself and how hard he's worked, and all indication is he hit home runs in the interview rooms, right? I hear the Titans put him to the test, right? They reviewed all his bad plays, and he described on every single case what he could have done differently and what he learned from his mistakes or his bad plays. So he hit home runs in the interview room, and then his work ethic as well has put him here in the number 1 spot.
It's some bullshit. God damn it. That means the Cleveland's have got more draft capital. They can draft more good players. I don't like it. Boo, boo, boo. Hate.
They'll just have more picks to screw
You
up.
want to talk about Cam Ward? He's just worried about the Cleveland thing.
I get damn straight. Cam Ward was going to Tennessee. Like that was the worst.
Right.
You knew he was going to Tennessee, so it's not like that.
Yeah.
I don't know where. Listen, it's all well and good. All you AFC motherfuckers that's on the call, I can't wait. You can't wait. I still have to deal with the shit I have to deal with, and then you understand. I don't want Cleveland. They had to pick up. Rob, help me out in terms of draft capital. Jacksonville had to give up switch
Wow.
become
So here we go.
first round pick probably next
So
year.
on the screen. All right. So hold on, JQ. So they get the 5th overall pick. They get so this is what Jacksonville receives the 4th round, and this year 104, a 6th round pick, the 200 pick. Man, that is very
Wait,
interesting.
do they
as
not
far
get a
as what
first round
happened.
pick next year?
Anything else on that? They got the 5th this year. So they traded down, and then they got like the 4th.
We got a 4th and a
this year,
6th
and then
this
they
year.
got the 6th round pick.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you know what
That
I think
is-
that does though? It gives
That
them
is-
some capital to possibly move up into the back end of the first half to get a first round to get a quarterback in this year's draft.
I agree with that. But
Mhm.
you're my draft, Nick, with your mock
That's
draft.
terrible.
I've never seen somebody move up from like 5 to 2 and not have to give up
Yeah.
at least a first or a second round pick in the next year's draft to move up. If all they got was a 4th
don't
and a
think it-
6th to
Yeah.
switch
That
spots,
wasn't shit.
that
They
is
didn't get-
not on
Yeah.
Jimmy
See,
Johnson.
they've already screwed up. You're okay. You're okay.
Who are the Jacksonville Jaguars targeting? Is the question, Rob?
No,
Who do you
so
think they're targeting?
No,
Who do you think they're
So
targeting?
no, JQ, you're absolutely right. The Browns are getting the 2nd round pick from Jacksonville this year and a 1st round pick in next year. So they got some
Okay.
draft capital.
That's what I was like, wait, what?
They
That's
They got
okay.
some draft capital to either QB in this draft or next year's draft.
Okay. Because I was like, if all they got was a 4th
Okay.
and a 6th to move down 4 spots in the first round, they got fleeced.
Mm-hmm.
That's what popped on the screen. So literally,
Okay,
it
I see it
happened
now.
like
I'm behind.
I'm watching the.
I'm on
NFL
my
Network.
computer.
Okay.
It's going to be
Yeah, I'm
interesting.
on it too.
I mean, I had Travis Hunter as the best player unavailable. So we're going to see if that's the route Jacksonville goes here, if they're going to go with Abdul Carter here, too.
So yeah, y'all are full of shit. That means
That
the Browns get 2 first round picks next year and 2 second round picks next year and 2
No, they got 2 2nd round picks this year.
2025, yeah, and 2 first round picks next year.
Yeah.
But you get them 2 second.
They're armed to select a quarterback in this or next year's draft. They currently
I
own
see
the
it
top.
now.
They own
It's
three
on
of
my
the top.
Next year's
picks.
quarterback
Yeah, there it
class is going to be even
Yeah, it
better,
just
too.
popped up too.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Just popped up. We had a slow thing. All right, the pick is in, guys. Who do we think is happening?
Travis
Is it
Hunter.
Travis Hunter? Is it Abdul Carter? Travis Hunter all the way? You
Hey.
think it's Gary?
Yeah.
Travis Hunter?
Their wide receiver room is Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman.
Ooh. No, they got your boy from LSU. Didn't they get him?
Brian
from
Thomas.
LSU? For Jag-
I'm talking about Cleveland. Oh well, yeah. So I was still looking at
Oh.
Cleveland. Yeah,
Okay,
they got Michael
yeah.
Thomas. And
Okay, my bad. I got you.
I think it's Hunter, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's
Thomas,
Abdul Carter here, too. Elite pass rusher.
there it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not.
They're all
I
clapping
might,
as always.
I might be too close to the fire on the Abdul Carter thing. I just don't
I'm
think that's
thinking-
it.
I'm thinking I'm thinking they're going to go.
I
with
think it's
it.
Travis Hunter.
I think it's Travis Hunter too. Listen, Penn State ain't beat Ohio State in his whole career, and they don't beat Michigan either. Really, like I've watched him. I've watched him play great in the first half, and I watched Ohio State go down the field when they needed to go down the field when Abdul Carter was on the field and he didn't do nothing. I watched in that playoff game where Notre Dame came back on Penn State and went down the field, and he didn't stop nothing. So you want me to take him number 2 and number 3? I just can't do it. Listen, Lawrence Taylor's a different beast. Lawrence Taylor, fourth quarter, will wreck your game plan. Giants win, right? I've watched Penn State lose games where Abdul Carter was out there playing and didn't do nothing in the fourth quarter, and the team went right down the field on them. So,
23 tackles for loss and 14 sacks.
Right.
Michael Parsons didn't beat Michigan and Ohio State either. We see what kind of elite player he is in the NFL. Abdul Carter, 23 tackles for loss, 14 sacks. He was
That measuring
out dominant in the college football playoff.
that measuring stick is a little.
Yeah, he
flawed.
did all that shit in the first half, and then Notre Dame
Your
went down
measuring
the field
stick-
on his ass, and they fucking won the game when he was out there playing defensive end, and he wasn't doing nothing in that fourth quarter. So
He's
your
drinking,
measuring
Jake.
stick is off because you're saying what did they do against the
what
best-
did they do against least talent?
Pick is coming
Right.
in.
Yes. To be number 2 and number 3 in the first round, Like, I need you to wreck games. I need you to wreck games when they matter the
He
most.
did.
Who else you putting in the top 5, JQ? Who you putting over him? 14 sacks, 23 and a half tackles for loss. Who you putting over him?
Somebody that can close the game.
Here we go.
Well, name somebody.
There we go. JQ. Chet Holmgren. Chet Holmgren and Patrick and it's all here. Back here we all. Here we
Let
go.
me see this top 10, and then I'll get back to you.
That's not, you gotta have somebody.
Wags it
Who
on
you
the
gonna put
spot.
over him?
Second pick. Eric Armstead.
I'm on mute, so I can't hear it. I'm waiting to pop up.
Nah, I'm a mute too. I'm a mute too.
I'll say, hey,
whatever
Eric,
pops
man,
up, that's
like,
when
go
we
up
see it.
one size, man. That suit is tight.
Boy,
Hey,
he's
that was
making
maybe
sure.
that was the max
He got
size
them
for that
muscles out.
slim fit.
Just
suit.
shitting me. He's not for the show him how I've been working out. Watch this. Watch this.
Man, this
slim
is the
fit.
longest time ever to announce the second pick of the draft.
Listen, they are taking a long ass time. We're on,
Really?
it's
Come on,
8:20.
bro.
We're on the
Come on,
second
man.
pick.
Stop playing with us. Come on, bro. Say it.
We know about the trade. Announce the pick.
Yeah,
Lord have mercy.
because that's what I needed to have happen. Well, you know what? I'm not mad.
Travis Hunter.
I'd
There
rather
it
take
is.
him to go
We
to
called it.
Jacksonville than go to goddamn
Travis
Cleveland.
Hunter.
I don't have to see his ass twice a year. Good for you, Jacksonville.
There it
Hey,
is, Travis Hunter.
Hey.
There it is. Yay. He
Other
was
than the
dancing, he
trade,
was
no
celebrating.
surprises so far.
I hope his I hope he
Dude,
got a new
coming out
girlfriend. That's
dancing.
all I hope.
Yeah, he's wilding.
You got to see what he's going to be. He's going to be wearing something slick. I haven't seen him yet. Have you guys?
You know what though?
Now, look,
I
think-
love that for Jacksonville. I love that for Jacksonville. Being objective, I would love for him to take his ass to the NFC, but he was either going to Tennessee or I'm not Tennessee, either Cleveland. Oh, I guess Jackson moved up, but he was going to go in the AFC in my opinion. Either way it went. But if you got a new coach and you're trying to change things up,
Good luck.
and you need help on both sides of the ball,
Yeah.
which Jacksonville does, that's a great pick.
Took a swing.
I
Well, you
love
got an
it.
offensive minded head coach,
Took a
right? Who's
swing and
already
got-
drawing up gadget plays for Travis Hunter, right? And look,
Oh yeah.
Travis Hunter, he's still he's still got a long way to go to improve his route running. I mean, just think when he gets his route running down, how good of a receiver he can be. And then
The
you
problem I
already
have
can
with
be-
that.
And then he's already a pretty good defensive player, right? Or elite defensive player.
Oh, I
You can
know.
use
I
him in the
agree.
slot. You can use him in the edge. So I mean, you're getting the two for the price of one here, and you can a lot of gadget opportunities,
Yeah.
a lot of offensive opportunities to use him in a lot of different ways too.
Here's the only thing I don't like about it is that he does not have a vet that you really trust on both sides of the ball. We're in that meeting room with him, right? Like, which quarterback did you say, "Hey, Rook, I'm gonna teach you how to do these tricks or whatnot," and I've got that pedigree to where you listen to me? Which wide receiver on the other side do you go to?
Right.
Because now they have a really young wide receiver room, and it's talented, no doubt, but they don't have a vet that's in there where you're like, he's on his last leg, but he's on his way out. But I can give you this game to the league of how it's supposed to work. That's my only thing for him in Jacksonville. I don't know if they target somebody to teach it, but I can't be the only one that said that. Like, hey man, our wide receiver room is really, really young. Do we have somebody to come?
That was probably their interview question. Do you think you could talk to these guys for us?
Well, that's what coaches
That's
got to
good,
earn their
Gary.
paychecks, right? I mean, it's going to
That's
come
right.
down to the coaches building him up, right, and getting him up to that, right? So he's not the best route runner in the world. There's no doubt about it. So he's got a long way to go for mining that craft, right?
Yeah.
But once he gets that, there's no question about his athletic ability, right? And so
Well, no,
even
I
if
mean-
you're using the package plays for like 20, 25 plays a game, you
Yeah.
can use them on reverses. You can use them on screen
Yeah.
plays, right? So there's a lot of different things that you can utilize him.
Yeah.
And Liam Cohen, obviously an offensive coordinator. I thought he did a really good job in Tampa last year from a creativity standpoint. So that's when coaching is going to have to come in and getting him up to speed.
But
And that's exactly what they need, because I was watching a lot of his film today earlier, and that was exactly what I was going to say. he's really not a very good route runner at all. In fact, I thought he was very, very
And
subpar.
that's, I mean,
His hands.
you're right. You're both right.
Is in for the Jones as well.
Here's what
This
I
is
say to that.
Hey,
Because you're right, Rob. The coach has to coach him up, but you always need a bet. Like, I feel like the Tyler Lockett signing that Tennessee got would have been the perfect signing for Jacksonville for the same money. So I'm gonna bring an older cat in. I can throw him in the slot with Thomas and him outside, but he's gonna be in there watching film with them and giving them the other thing that the coach is gonna tell you what coaches say. But sometimes you know how it is, peer to peer, big brother to little brother, and sometimes it just hits different. So it's not over yet. I haven't looked at the remaining free agency market for the wide receiver group, right? But what my recommendation would be for Jacksonville is to bring somebody in there that helps them. To you guys' point about his route running, being a pro. Like, yes, coaches can help you with that technique and teach you how to film, but it just feels like every time you see a great player go into the Hall of Fame or talk about their career, one of the first couple of things they talk about is I had that X that when I got to Team Y, he took me under his wing. He showed me what it's like to be a pro. He showed me how to run routes. He showed me this.
Yeah.
Feeling like you have to have that, and I just don't feel like Jacksonville at this point has that guy currently in the room. Not saying they can't get him, but it's still a great pick.
The
Fantastic pick.
problem with all this that we talked about coaching and stuff. Where did this kid play? He played where all the coaches are at. You know, so he's already had
Colorado.
these pros working with him, and you know, and all of this stuff. So that would be my kind of issue with all that is, God, you've already had these solid NFL players coming in and working with you, and you're still not running these routes like because they showed some of the other receivers running similar routes, and it was just like it was.
But the only thing about that, Gary, is that he split a lot of his time in Colorado. I think whatever team drafts him is going to say, hey, either this side or this side is your primary side. To Raul's point, I'm going to drop gadget plays. If I slot you as a cornerback and you're basically Dion with, I'm going to bring you in for 15 to 20 snaps at wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Abdul Carter goes to
There's Abdul Carter.
Yep.
Listen, look at this. Look at this motherfucker.
We know JQ is not a fan. We still had named a player who would kick over him.
JQ, you would love the Bengals to draft him
For the value at 17, yes. My only question about it, if you listen, if it's a nuanced conversation, what I said was if you're taking that dude at 2 or 3, do you want him at that point? Because Rob talked about it earlier.
Who you taking over him? JQ,
I told you I want to see what happened behind him. And then I'll give you my response. But
hey, you gotta be able to.
I don't have all memorized right now, Robert.
You take Stewart out of
You gotta know now.
Would you take that Shamar Stewart out of Texas A&M?
Are you taking Will Campbell over him from LSU? Or are you taking Ashton Genty over him? Or are you taking Armand Mimbo over him? Or are you taking Mikael Williams, Jalen Walker? Are you taking any of those guys over Abdul Carter? No. Just go ahead and say it. No, you're not. None of those guys had Abdul Carter production last year. Yeah, exactly. That was my whole point all the time. Right?
I just don't like it.
Taking any of those guys
because he disappears.
Well, all I'm asking is who's taking over.
Shedeur Sanders. How about that? God damn it, Shedeur Sanders. I'm gonna take him.
Okay, all right.
Listen.
Yeah, so with Shedeur not there
quarter.
tonight.
That was also all these shits is in the first half. They all in the first half.
You know, that was a sign already when Shedeur Sanders was announced that he wasn't going to be at the draft in person.
I wonder.
I mean, he obviously knows that he must go to fall.
I wonder if Daddy
draft,
said,
right?
well.
And I mean, you don't want to be that last guy in that green room, but my question is, why the hell is Jalen Milroe going?
Because he said he just want to go to Green Bay just to hang out. He's gonna find out that Green Bay closes at 9:45.
Oh God, that's plenty. You got plenty of time now.
Wow.
Wow. Dinner at 3.
So just to go over really quickly, guys, we're having a good time. Just to go over everything, the Browns get the number 5, number 36 a 21-26 and a 2026 first round pick for next year. So that's what happened for that.
Yep.
For just talk about too. So just want to make sure we're clear on that. As far
They
as
got
what
the
happened.
ammunition to move up in this draft if they
Not-
want to get a
not-
quarterback
not-
this year, or they have the
Talking
ammo
that
for
into
next year.
fruition, Robert Ford. I don't want that.
Hey, we
No, we
objective
don't
on
have
the
to
show.
always be objective. We can just be fans.
We got to be
No, we
objective here.
Not on.
Shout out to Marcy
You know what?
announcing the
I
trade on,
understand
the
that,
chat
Rob,
here.
but
Yep.
I'm going to call bullshit on that too, because I'm a fan first. I'll be objective if it's convenient for me.
Hey man, we got viewers and listening watchers. Hey, it's okay to
I know
be
it's
fans,
that
but we got to
bullshit,
be
Rob.
objective
Listen,
too.
next week's show, or when we get back on here, we can talk about who draft grades. I'll be objective then. But in the middle of this right now, I'm gonna be a full-blown fan. We ain't had no football in like 3.5, 4 months. Fuck Cleveland, and they trade and get more capital. I said it. I said it on the show. They know how I feel about them. So whatever. It's a great trade though to get that draft capital though. I will give them credit for that. I just don't want to see it because I got to see them twice a year.
Somehow they'll
great,
piss. Okay,
Keep
somehow
drinking,
they'll
JQ.
piss it away though.
That's a great. It's a great trade. I want my concern is they went down to 6, 5. Okay,
It went down to 5.
Oh,
Yeah.
who are they targeting the 5?
Maybe Sanders is throwing a suit on and trying to head to
Thank you, Marcy.
Green Bay.
Man,
So-
if they get, if I'll tell you like
Yeah.
this, I am
Sanders
going to hang up if they walk out of here with Shador and who else they get in the 2. I'm hanging up. I don't even want to see it. I don't.
That's going to be interesting.
Why-
You know,
why?
we had Ashton Genty. I had Ashton Genty going 5. Does Cleveland still view
Yeah,
him in
because
that,
Nick
in
Chubb
that
is-
realm?
Nick
Or are they
Chubb
looking
is
at one
gone.
of the offensive tackles? I mean, you got like 3 offensive tackles right there: Will Campbell, Kelvin Banks, Armand Mimbo. Or do you take the offensive
Yeah,
weapon?
you know
in
why?
Ashton
Because Nick
Genty
Chubb
there?
has been injured hard twice. And he's a free
Yeah.
agent. He's out.
Yeah.
So please don't do that.
Yep.
Listen,
And
okay,
either way-
let me revise that. If they get Shador or Genty, I might hang up.
And Genty. What if they get both?
I wasn't gonna be here for the second round anyway. That's tomorrow. But
They're not getting both.
What if they get both tonight?
Yeah, because
Why are
they've
we-
got
why-
capital. They've got
wait,
capital to trade.
wait a minute. Why are we doing this, Rob? Why are we doing this?
Hey, Cleveland's got a long way to go to catch.
No,
the
they
beat.
do.
Now,
They
might
don't.
come past the-
They have a good
the
defense.
Steelers.
They just don't have a
Well,
quarterback. If they get a capable quarterback,
They even with a rookie quarterback, they won't be competing with Cincinnati next year. Not with maybe in a few years, but not next year, right? If they come out of this draft with Shedeur Sanders and Jackson Dart, they're not competing for that division on next year. Not next year, maybe down the
I don't
road.
know if I agree with that. I like Shador more than most people like it. And Cleveland has a good run game. They have a good offensive line. If they walk out of here and they mess around and get a second-tier wide receiver and a quarterback to go along with what they have right now, they're a problem. If you go look at it, but if you go
They're
look
gonna have
at it,
growing pains.
Cleveland really
Caleb Williams. None of
most
those
of the
guys
time
are taking
Cleveland get
games.
blown out. Cleveland has a good defense. They just don't have no damn quarterback.
No, I agree with you. But I don't think any rookie quarterback that they will get in the latter part of this draft is going to have them in the playoffs on next year. None of these guys.
You
are
didn't
Jayden
think
Daniels.
Washington was gonna make the playoffs, let alone the NFC championship game with Jayden Daniels when we came into the season? No, you didn't. No, you did not.
No, I didn't.
Thank
I
you.
agree
So
with
I'm
that,
saying
but
you
still.
can't make that statement because I thought Jayden Daniels would make Washington better. I didn't think it was gonna make them NFC
I
championship
didn't
game.
even think he was going to make them that much better. But
Or any one of those quarterbacks got picked number 2 overall like Jayden Daniels did last year? No. None of those quarterbacks are going to make the Browns go to the playoffs on next year. I'm sorry. Not
Listen,
next
I don't
year, maybe
remember-
down the road. And look, I think Shedeur, I think Jackson Dart are both going to be starting quarterbacks in this league. But those guys are not going to lead the team to the playoffs on
I
next
hope
year.
you are 100%, 1,000% right. I hope they don't lead them back. I hope they lead them back to the number 2 pick overall next year. Okay, so but I'm watching what happens, and I'm like, well, I can't just summarily dismiss
he's
that.
going in the first round.
The championship game is different than making the playoffs.
He was
Coach
going in the
Charles
first
Walker.
round. And he's
I
going to
might
the
be wrong, but I
playoffs.
doubt
The
it.
championship game is different than just making the playoffs, right? Like with Jane Daniels in number 2, I still didn't see coming, but going to the championship game and then making the playoffs as the 7th seed as the last wild card are two vastly different things, right?
Yeah.
So I just don't want them to even do that run.
Yeah. And they knocked off the number 1 seed.
Yes. Then thank you. That's why I'm looking at you like, well, I don't know if I can just say that.
Shadur
Here we go
Sanders
for the
and Jackson
Chiefs.
Dart are going to be starting quarterbacks in this league, but I don't see them in that tough NFC North division with Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow at the helm of any one of those quarterbacks
And we
being
ain't talking
better than
about
Lamar
Pittsburgh getting
Jackson.
the
Will
goddamn
Campbell.
quarterback because they a quarterback
Those
away too.
Patriots.
I'm tired of the AFC. Go to the NFC. Do something else.
Will Campbell to New
I
England.
told you.
No surprises so far.
Oh,
LSU,
God.
baby.
Oh, my
Go
God.
Tigers.
Oh, my God.
I'm a fan now,
No,
too.
you're not.
No, gotta be objective.
You're right. You gotta be objective.
Oh, no, it's the right
See,
field,
see how you heard that, right,
Yeah,
Gary?
right.
Yeah,
Well,
okay.
that didn't last long.
Yeah, okay. I'll make sure I went out here alone in these streets. You heard that too.
The only question mark about Will Campbell coming in this draft is his arm length, right? But when you watch the film, he went against elite talent in the SEC, only gave up 2 sacks in 3 years as a starter at left tackle with LSU, right?
Oh, you know what?
Worst come to worst, you
Nick
move
Saban was
inside the
talking
guard.
about him
But I
and his
mean,
arm length, and he says it never affected him. We never got a sack on it.
You know somebody else I know about from the SEC that had it happen to him and their career wasn't all that great. Where I'm going, Rob, you know who I'm going with. Jonah Williams, which is the guy from Alabama.
Yeah.
Had the same exact conversation we're having about him right now. We had
they moved, didn't
he? Yeah, but he also didn't flourish there either, though.
Yeah.
I hope. Listen, I'm not wishing that for him, viewers. I'm just saying this exact conversation. Cincinnati's talked themselves into taking Jonah because we needed an offensive lineman in the top 10, and they said going into the draft and he had short arms.
Yep.
I'm rooting for the guy. I got nothing
He
against
went
him.
to the camera and went like this. I don't know.
Oh, well, you know what I do? He went to New England, so I am rooting against him. Sorry, Rob.
I tell you what's going to this pick for the Browns at number 5 is going to be real interesting. I mean, to me, the best thing for them to do is either go Gentry offensive tackle here, but you still got Kelvin Banks on the board. You still got Amon Mimbo on the board. Tyler Warren might be a slight reach here, but I think you got to go Gentry offensive tackle here if you're the Browns.
You got in Njoku. I don't think you need Tyler Warren. Njoku, if you gave him a quarterback, he's listen. That was Jameson's homeboy. I don't know if they was eating lunch or breakfast together or what. When
He's got
Jameson
some injury concerns. He's got to stay healthy. But no, I agree with you. From a talent perspective, he has the talent.
Please take Banks so the Falcons don't draft him. We don't need Banks. Come on, man. Please take him so we don't see that nonsense happen in the first round.
What's your
Please,
pick? What number are you, Andre? 15. Who's your wish guy? Who's the guy you want?
There it is.
Dre, who's that guy you want
Want to fall or just in general?
Well,
I mean, ain't that the same thing?
Yeah. See, I like James Pierce's crazy.
Oh my God!
Man.
Listen, you want to bring him to Atlanta? We can go be at the strip club and wow, that is the last thing you want. You want him to go to
Atlanta.
What if Cleveland surprises all and take a quarterback here?
Then maybe
they may take.
They could justify and say, "Hey, we trade back and got more capital."
and take Sanders.
JQ. For some reason, I think he can play like a joker. He can be like a safety. He can be like a piece. I do like Jahad Campbell too because I like the fact that
he's coming off of surgery. I don't like that in his rookie year.
I don't like it either, but I'm saying who I like. But then, like I said, we'll see. I mean, the pick is in already. This is crazy how we
let's do it. No, listen, don't drag this shit on. It's Thursday.
It's is it Rob? Do you think it's Gentry? Do we think it's
I'm thinking Gentry offensive tackle, but it could be an outside chance of a quarterback here.
I hope it's Gary.
If it's a quarterback, it's going to be Sanders.
You say you hope it's Gary Schaefer?
I do.
That's crazy.
So do I. I'll come out of retirement. Hey, I want the
Go,
game.
Gary.
I don't want to play a Sunday night game, though. It's too late. Can we have our team dinner at 3?
That's hilarious. I need some time to cut the grass, guys. Come on.
You gotta come here and change these light bulbs.
Remember whatever
engineers,
Baker
right?
Mayfield was
Get
doing
a
that?
little
He
shine
literally-
up there.
Remember whatever?
Oh my gosh, y'all are crazy.
You remember whatever Baker Mayfield used to live at the stadium? He was like,
Yep.
"I gotta fix this." You
Yeah,
remember
no,
that?
it wasn't,
That
'cause fuck
hilarious
Cleveland.
commercial. At least he's staying true. He is staying
The
true.
Browns
I'm
are going
not
here.
mad.
You
I'm not mad.
message Naj that we were going to have this early thing.
I didn't.
Well,
didn't.
Naj, if you're watching this, man, we'd love to have you here tonight.
Yeah, he would have been wild in this format.
Oh boy. Yes. So I think on our
That Mason Graham from Michigan. You move back to take Mason Graham?
That is Mason
Let's go,
Graham.
Cleveland. Do Cleveland things. Do
Wow.
Cleveland things.
Wow.
That just don't look like he's gonna push nobody
Mason
around.
Graham.
What? Does he look like he's gonna push you around?
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
Well, looking at him in person, but
Wow.
his film tells you otherwise, though.
that motherfucker
Wow.
looks like he lost some weight.
he doesn't look very big.
No.
Wow. They said
Medium.
run game Mauler.
Yep.
They have on him.
Let's go
I actually
Cleveland.
had him falling. I had him falling like number 13.
Listen,
But
that
at
means
one
one
point,
less
he was
motherfucker-
viewed as a top 5 pick in this draft.
Well,
That's one less motherfucker. The
you know,
Bengals
we're
might choose to make
expecting
me
really
mad.
good drafts from the Patriots, but those days are long gone.
Listen. I'll give Will. I didn't say that story to say that he can't succeed. I'm just comparing it to what they said about Jonah because it was almost the same conversation. But to Rob's point, it's not like he was out there playing some boo-boo the fools. Like he had some elite competition he played against well. So I'm not going to kill New England for taking him at that point. Like he's right. He's fighting an uphill battle because of his arm length, but he went against some good competition. He held his own. So I'm gonna give him credit for that.
No, I like the pick for the New England. I think they got good value there. I think you're getting a guy who's mature, who's going to come in and work his tail off and be ready to play. I mean, I think it was a solid pick for the Patriots right there, if we're being honest.
Well, yeah, and when I was listening to Nick Saban talk about him, I mean, Nick Saban just raved about him earlier today. So, and he's phenomenal talent evaluator. So, yeah, that's a solid pick. Maybe it's the stripes. Maybe I need to get stripes. I'm going to get stripes. Maybe I'll be, slimming like that.
Yeah, that motherfucker.
There it is. So it looked like the Raiders. Looks like the Raiders can take Gentry, huh? We didn't think it was going to happen.
Well,
but
we
it's
said
spot for
Gentry
him,
wasn't
right?
going to get past the
Probably what's gonna
Raiders,
happen.
right?
I don't
And
think
so
so.
here it is. I know the Bears
Yep.
are really high on Gentry. They're hoping he falls or was possibly even interested in trading up to get him. So we'll see what happens there, too.
Gotcha. He does look kind of small, GQ, but they say that he looks like he's a run game mauler. He's like really fast. He's able to again penetrate. It looks like so. If you're Cleveland, interesting situation, right? This is a surprise. We're probably
Listen, I love it.
We're all pretty.
I wouldn't say it's a total surprise. I mean, I've had a mock as high as
You said you had him dropping the
to 13, but in previous mocks, I've had him as high as number 4, right? So, I mean, he's a guy that's been considered a top 5 pick throughout the draft process. But not a total surprise. I just had him down to 13. But
I'm really curious on your last few mocks, Rob. 'Cause so far everything's lining up for you. So far where you've had things at different mocks. I'm kind of curious to see where some of these players fall, in the 12 to 20 range.
Yep.
That's where I'm going to really be looking at. This guy. Let's see.
We'll see. I'm curious to see who falls, who drops, like the Jalen Walkers. What happens with that, Rob? I don't know if safety is kind of, if you can get a safety at 15, is that a good?
No, I'm not taking. Listen, you better goddamn be Ed Reed or Troy Polamalu in the top 15. No.
Exactly. So that's why we're talking about. That's why I'm kind of scared of the, Malachi Starks. Great player, but is he that much of a game changer?
Oh no, not me or Sean Taylor. If he ain't one of them motherfuckers, sorry, audience, drinking. No, you cannot go in the top 15.
Keep it real. Keep it real, JQ. You stay exactly how you are, man. Don't
definitely too high for Malachi right now.
No, a safety. I'm not taking. You have to be elite to go.
No, I'm saying at 15, Rob. I'm not saying at 6, Rob.
I'm going to take my
three. Raiders.
Tight end, linebacker, safety. You better be that.
The intriguing players here for me. Oh, here's the pick.
There's Jinchi. Jinchi goes.
Oh my God! Oh, sorry.
We called it.
Sorry. Wow. She has to look like a Skittle.
There he is.
Taste the rainbow.
Let's go. All right. Go ahead, Rob. Go ahead. What you were saying though, Jake.
No,
you got to be like either a Hall of Fame, be like at 15, right? So if you're saying tight end
and linebacker to me
or
are too high for the top 15. They have to be elite special talent.
It has to be a versatile linebacker, right? It has to be a linebacker, or edge rushers, of course. Is one of the 5 most important positions in football, right?
I'm not talking about a 3. I'm not talking about a 3-4 line.
But yeah, from a linebacker perspective, it's got to be someone that has a lot of versatility, that can rush the passer, that can drop in coverage, that can do a lot of different things if you're going to draft them high. But no, to your point, I know there's a lot of people that says the running back position is devalued, but really the position that's devalued is linebackers, right? You don't see regular linebackers going in the first round that often, right? But it's a pure weak side linebacker or a pure middle linebacker. If they don't have the versatility to do multiple things, they're not going in the first round. Yeah, not at all.
Yeah, because the running back and tight end gonna kill them on that wheel route. Wheel route, up the seam route. If they can't do it, listen, I'm looking at you, Jermaine Pratt, talking about getting traded for Cincinnati. Trade that motherfucker because the tight ends abuse him. Oh, they abuse him. And it is what it is.
Oh man, JQ on fire.
I watched him abuse him. And it puts pressure on the safety. Now you can only call but so many coverages.
Oh, we got someone coming in.
There's Naj there. What's up, Naj?
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's up, hey, can y'all hear me at all?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, never put your AirPods in the dishwasher, man. Don't work. Look.
Come on, Naj.
JQ, me and you gonna fight for that.
Why?
Thanks for that wisdom, Naj.
All that Ohio State stuff. I don't know, man. I've just been railing against the Big Ten all day. That's what I'm on.
Oh,
God. What's going on, y'all?
Naj, who you picking over Abdul Carter in this draft, Naj?
What'd you say?
Who you picking over Abdul Carter in this draft?
I mean, besides the QB, I don't think there's much I would, man. A pass rusher is a pass rusher, bro. Like, all right, put it like this. You franchise, or if you got a pass rusher, how much you paying? 30 per? And you get a rookie, what you get him for? 8? Dude, we right back to the Anthony Richardson type scenario. This is just where you roll the dice, bro.
Yeah, you not winning your Anthony Richardson conversation right now.
Yeah, you roll the dice. Sometimes it come up snake eyes, brother. That's their problem.
Well, Naj is the Anthony Richardson fan, man. He's a fan of him in the college.
Exactly.
I think Naj was the agent.
When we used to talk about it, remember, JQ kept saying, watch his performance on the field. The dude hasn't proven himself. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Problem is he's 6'6", 240, and run a 4.4. You draft him, bro. You roll the dice. That's the game.
How's that working out for the Colts?
Well, unfortunately, that man may lose his job to Daniel Jones. Life is hard.
Lose his job to Daniel Jones? Why do you bring that up as a comparison?
Because I feel like that's actually going to happen. I feel like Anthony Richardson going to lose that job, bro.
Don't sound like Naj is high on Anthony Richardson anymore.
I never was. I just said with his measurables, he was gonna be drafted in a way that we didn't expect. That was all.
No, listen,
And same thing with Abdul Carter, man.
Oh my
That
God.
40 time, that size, that speed, bro. It's
Listen,
what it is.
Okay, so for anybody just joining the conversation, Rob, for one, is a rabble rouser by bringing that question up tonight, just to spark the animosity or the debate.
I just want to know who you gonna pick over.
No. You know what you was doing. You know what you was doing.
Come on, Rob.
Nobody else did it for me.
He
Like he
recognized
asked you the
us.
same question. Who you gonna pick over?
You did that because of what I said about him. Just stop
I
that.
just want to know who you gonna pick over him. That's all I want to know.
Okay, whatever.
Well, you said Shadur Sanders. Okay, you
I
say
did.
that.
This is for anybody just joining the call. This is why I'm a Big Ten guy. I've watched Penn State play a lot of football. I'm not saying that dude shouldn't go in the first round. I question going in the top 3 picks where I watched him. I watched Penn State for the 3 years he was there be 10-1, 10-2, have a chance to be almost undefeated, and always lose the big game where he was starting at end and he did not close in the fourth quarter. That's my only point about it. He had a chance to submit himself up top with it all the way, and I watched him disappear where teams go on a 10-play drive and take the lead and they win. And he was out there. His ass was out there playing fucking defensive end. And he didn't do nothing in the fourth quarter when the game was on the line. So that's my pushback on him being in the top 3. That's all I would say. And anybody that really watches Big Ten football, please chime in and say, you're right. Because they know I am.
I'll give you that, man. But Shador, come on, man. Shador gonna be sitting there. Wow.
I just want to know who you gonna.
Aaron Rodgers sat there for a while. He won 4 MVPs in a Super Bowl.
That is where those
I
comparisons
just want to know who you're gonna pick over.
A-Rod
That's all I
is,
want to know.
as
Mikael
Barkley would
Williams
say,
didn't have,
athletic.
Rob still has.
didn't have,
Rob's still trying to get the question. Who you pick
Abdul
over?
Carter production,
Who you pick over?
right? None. James Pierce didn't have Abdul Carter. The guy had 14 sacks and 23 and a half sacks. Big Ten wasn't a slouch conference. You say all these other conferences are weak, right? I mean, I just want to know who else you're gonna pick over him. That's all
I said I was waiting to see the top 10, Rob, and I was going to get back to you.
you,
He
Mikael
put you in a
Williams had to
dilemma
stay
right
healthy,
there when he asked who you
right?
gonna take instead
You know,
of. He put you in a
Jalen
dilemma
Walker is
right
extremely talented.
He
If he
did.
had put up the production Abdul Carter has, right? I'm just saying who you gonna pick over.
Listen, I said it again.
Who you gonna pick over him? Answer the question. Who
I
you
said
gonna
it
pick
again.
over him?
I've always said I could never be a GM because I'm not paying none of these sorry bums the money they get paid. So I can never be a GM. It is what it is. I would take Shador. I wouldn't listen to Jackson Dartlove. I'm like, easy.
If JQ was a GM of all 32 teams, I'm gonna tell y'all what would happen.
See, you're gonna be on that bullshit.
Tennessee would have made their pick tonight.
No Michigan players.
Jacksonville would have made their pick at 2, and about 3 through 10 wouldn't have drafted at all. They would have just lost their picks and all the way up.
You're right. I don't believe in none of them. motherfuckers.
I'm loving it.
None of them. No, you know what? I like the Jitty pick. I like the Jitty pick for Vegas. When you got Geno and you say, "Hey, I like Geno. He's my quarterback." I like that pick for them.
You
I
picked him over Abdul Carter?
because I got Max Crosby. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I would.
No, I'm just in general. If you're picking the best player on the board, which you should do in the draft.
Oh, but nobody does that. You're so altruistic. I'm just going to take the best player in the draft. Nobody does that, Rob. They draft.
I'll give you the best example. You're an Ohio State guy, right, JQ?
Yeah, but no team does that. They always draft.
I know a lot of teams have done it. I'll give you an example with my Saints here real quick. Obviously, I follow the Saints more than any other team. The Saints had Darren Howard and Charles Grant at defensive end, and we drafted Will Smith because the Saints felt like, and Will Smith helped the Saints win the Super Bowl, right? And you had 2 guys that were already double-digit sacks on the roster, and they still drafted Will Smith because they thought he was the best player on the board.
But you could kick Will Smith inside and still be effective. They knew that too. So that's
short arms.
But you can't say that you watched him kick him inside and him be effective. Yes, you did, and you loved it.
That's my memo to the Jets.
No, my goodness, you watched him do it and be effective. So you can't say that in the vacuum.
They moved Darren Howard inside. They kept Will Smith on the edge.
That's also true. But he also spent some time on the inside. He was effective from the inside as well. He was just a beast. I've watched.
All right,
I just watched him not do it. To me, if I'm a draft a defensive end, or offensive tackle that high, I need them to either disrupt the quarterback or protect the quarterback when all the chips are on the line. And I watched him in the fourth quarter come up short for 3 years for Penn State. So for him to go in the top 3, again, I didn't say he was a bum. I'm not saying he shouldn't go undrafted. He should go in the 5th round. Should he go in the 1st round? Yes. Should he go in the top 3? In my opinion, no.
Well, where should he have got slotted at?
That's where we get back to the positional value stuff. This is why quarterbacks are pushed up the board. This is why pass rushers are pushed up the board. There's
One of
just
the
so
most
much
powerful
value in those
positions in football.
positions, man. That's just the way it's going to be. And honestly, like what you said, best player available, yes, that would be the ultimate thing to do. That's what everybody should do. Problem is, we got owners who want to be meddlesome, who get involved in the draft process. We got guys who are trying to keep their job, so they ain't thinking about the long-term future of the franchise. Like, it just gets muddy as soon as the draft starts, man. So here we are. Like, Jacksonville gets Hunter. What's Jacksonville going to do with
the
Hunter?
plan and everything goes.
Like, what? What are they going to do?
Wait a minute. I'm going to look it up here, Rob. God damn it. Who am going to take over him? Go ahead. I'm going to look it up.
That man said he'll look it up for you.
I just want to know, man.
No, but hold on, because I wasn't around when the pick was or the trade was made and the pick was made. Like, what are y'all thoughts with the Travis Hunter Jacksonville thing? So y'all think a full-time receiver, part-time corner, or this just Jacksonville being Jacksonville?
I think he's a full-time defensive player and a part-time offensive player. That's why I project him. I think there's some evaluators that's got a different opinion of him, but I project him as a full-time DB, right? And the guy more so in the Deion Sanders mode when he played in the league. You know, I think he can play 15 to 20 maybe plays on the offensive side of the football. And look, they got they got Liam Cohen, who's a pretty creative offensive mind, right? So I think they have some things in mind on how they envision using Travis Hunter, right? I like the pick at number 2. I think there's still I think Travis Hunter can even be better than what he is. I think with some more learnings, right? Some more teaching and coaching. And I think that's what they envision him. I think he can be an elite defensive player and a guy that can help them on the offensive side of the football too.
I would go the other way only for the fact that wait a minute. Well, they went to Jacksonville. Yeah, no, he's got to play it on defense. You ain't got a buddy from LSU last year, and Thomason. He had a fantastic rookie year for Jacksonville. You can use him as a gadget player. I think you need him to set the edge out there and say, hey, can you take away one half of this field? When you take him at number 2, you damn sure better be able to take away one half of the field at number 2. And that's all I ever say about the draft slots of it. If I draft you number 2 and you want the Heisman Trophy playing both sides, sir, in the division with Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson, whoever the hell Pittsburgh gets, you better be able to take away one side of. Oh, sorry, Jacksonville's not Cleveland. Still the AFC. Buffalo,
Yeah.
Baltimore, Cincinnati, Kansas City, Chargers. You better be able to neutralize one side of the field against these elite quarterbacks, and that's where his pressure is. I'm not listen. You got a stud, and you got a deep wide receiver core group in this draft. You gotta have Travis Hunter play quarterback, and you need him to be elite in the AFC.
I think there's one other thing I'll add to Travis Hunter too. I think what you have here, you have some corners in the NFL that are elite corners, but they don't have great ball skills, and that's the thing you love about Travis Hunter too. He can be an elite corner, but he's got great ball skills too. So the ball is in his area. He has a chance to go get it and force a turnover, right? So that's big. That's a game changer when you got a guy on defense who's a ball hawk and can create turnovers for their football team and give them more possessions.
Well, if they were going to use him in one play or another on offense, the goal line stuff would be perfect for this kid. You know, the lobs and because I was watching him earlier today. And the way he can reach around receivers, still hang on to the ball, and all that would be. Yeah,
but those are Iowa State receivers, bro. These aren't NFL receivers. So yeah, you can do that against Kansas State and Iowa State. I don't know if you can do that shit against receivers in the NFL. I'm sorry, I'm just giving the Big 12 a whole lot of just straight bullets. Cincinnati too. I'm gonna throw them into if they suck. So to your question, I would say Will Campbell and Ashton Jeanty over Abdul Carter right now, and not Mason Graham and Nimbo.
So you would take Will Campbell over Abdul Carter?
All right.
Yes.
Okay, that's fair. I just wanted to know.
You talk about the Ryder
would
Hampton
too.
Trophy?
I would
take
too.
that.
I don't think that would have been hard if Will Campbell would
All
have
right.
went to one spot.
Carolina Panthers.
That means Abdul Carter would have still been number 4 overall if you'd have picked Will Campbell.
I said I would take Jeanty too.
Well, you said
Let's
Jeanty too, so
Yep.
he would be
See,
number
they're
5 overall in your book.
Yeah. He said Gentry. See what the Panthers do. Are they gonna? They picked a wide receiver
From Arizona?
Oh. Territory McMillan. Yep, they got the guy from Arizona. Wow.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, well,
When you got that little small,
he's a big
quarterback,
target.
I
You
guess
got a
it
small
helps to have a big
quarterback.
target, you know?
But he's not
Yeah.
a burner.
He's not a burner, but man, he's
At
got great. You know, what he reminds me of Drake London, and Drake London went the same spot, number 8 overall in the draft.
He did.
I feel like I
Yeah,
feel
Drake
like this is
London on there too,
disrespectful.
Rob.
And
Good
I
call.
feel like it's a Saints tinge disrespect to do Drake London like that. This is
That's
David
wild.
Boston without the HGH. That's all this is, brother. Like
Easy.
He's okay.
I don't need that.
Hey,
Whoa. I don't need that
I think
Ohio
he doesn't
State.
have great speed, but he's got great. I mean, he's got great leaping ability. He's got great ball control. He uses his
He
body
does.
well. He boxes out like a power forward and center
But
in basketball.
I
So
hate-
I mean, he's a guy that you can go and get. I didn't have him going this high. I had him going like 18 or 19.
You're right.
Yeah.
But
That's what was like. That's too high.
do I
You
think
could've
he's a
traded
good
back and
player?
Still got him.
So what would you grade that one? You're
A D, because you could have traded back in the first round
a
and got
D,
him.
you giving him a D?
Yeah. I don't know if I would give him a D, maybe a B minus or something like that.
For
But
somebody who had an 18 that went 8th, that's got to be at least a C.
still a first round. But he was a guy in several mocks that you envisioned going in the top
D
10.
is way too low, JQ, on that.
So
one.
I don't think
That's
it's
a hard.
I don't think it's the D. No,
No way.
I mean a D would be drafting Will Howard. No, a D or drafting Will Howard, it would be an F.
You know what? Y'all got a lot of Ohio State hate. We got David Boston, we got Will Howard. I'm not appreciative of what the fuck is happening right now. I'm just gonna put that out there for y'all, sir. That's just.
I'm not
you
saying
just
anything.
said it.
Andre, you remember these?
I'm
I
talking
didn't
about
say it.
you know,
I didn't
the
say
person
that.
I'm talking to knows who I'm talking to. No.
Naj.
This
Yeah,
time it's not
yeah.
Naj. This time it's Robert Ford.
I love it.
And look, I'm not
Okay,
knocking
that's right.
McMillan. I think McMillan is a good
I
player.
hear that.
It's just at that part of the draft, if I'm getting a receiver, I'm getting separation speed guy. I'm getting fast
He's not
shifty
that.
guy.
He's
And
not
yeah, I just
listen.
feel like corners are gonna get up in them, and we've seen
getting-
this before. Tall, stiff guys who
Yep.
have this great catch radius and stuff. Man, I don't know if that turns into a number 1 wide receiver, which you're saying by drafting him this high. And to go back to the
Yeah.
Travis Hunter thing, love the player, just hate the place that he got picked by. I just
But those
think
short
Jacksonville is a
quarterbacks like those
dumpster
tall
fire.
receivers, right? They like
Yeah.
tight ends. They like those
Yeah.
tall receivers. I mean, I watched Drew Brees, the short quarterback. You know, Marcus Colston, he liked that big target. Marcus Colston was slow as Christmas, right? But he used his body well. And, you know, you had.
But
you know,
Rob,
yeah,
where'd
Jimmy
y'all
Green.
get Marcus Colston, sir? Where'd y'all
Seventh
pick
round.
Marcus Colston? Yeah, exactly. That's all I'm saying.
7th round.
Hofstra.
Wow. Well, I mean, I kind of we talked about this earlier.
Saints
because
on the
whenever
clock
you're
and the pick is
drafting
in.
the number 1 player. Oh, sir, here you go, Rob. Who's it gonna be?
Jackson
Who's it gonna be,
Dart.
Rob. Who do you want?
No.
Oh, damn. Shador Sanders.
What?
I like Kelvin Banks, offensive tackle from Texas.
Okay.
I'll be good with Tyler Warren, Jalen Walker, or Mikael Williams here.
Y'all
Tyler
get an
Warren's like
offensive
freaking
lineman.
Taysom Hill, though. Again,
I'm fine with that.
they excited. Are we dropping off at? Are we dropping off at the 10th?
I'm dropping off the 10th pick. I don't know what y'all doing.
Oh, we're
Do
staying
y'all
on.
know? I'm not watching, so I'm just catching y'all reaction to everything. Does Shador have a camera crew with him? Like, are they doing
No,
a
I'm
live
sure
with
he's
him
not
or
to.
anything?
Well, they ain't showed him yet though.
Yep.
Okay, because I feel like that's a good indicator of where we should expect them to be picked.
I said that to the fellas. As soon as I saw that he was not on the attending the draft in person, he obviously knew he was dropping in the draft.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, when your daddy's Deion Sanders and he's just throwing money at you, I mean, is he really losing? There's no telling where he's at right now. There's
All right, who that nation? Let's see what we're doing.
telling where he is at right now. And I'm not mad at him at all. He might be somewhere having the time of his life, you know what I mean? And I'm not mad at it.
Big
Keep
fact.
coming on the chat.
Hey, JQ. I mean, again, I'm not. It's one of those situations. I'm not. What Marcia said, I'm not like beating you up with that. I just thought that was. I'm like, you shit.
No. Yeah, no. She's right. I got problems. I got
So
right.
who that?
That's later on. That's later. Once we gotta get big, you know. We're not.
But I also think that people. I think people.
love it.
I think that's part of the reason why like McAfee is so big is because they cuss and they just say what they want to say. I think people like that.
That's true.
But I don't want. But I don't want
Dude,
to get
I
a system
love it.
trying to figure
I
that
love
out.
Yeah, we live in
Nah,
a
that's all.
period of
We got some
idiocracy. We are living the movie right now.
Here we go. Here's
Rob
Rob
got off the
dropped off.
camera.
Rob.
Kelvin Banks. I told
He's
you.
like, what?
Offensive line. He called it.
Good.
The
Let's
Saints
go.
draft offensive defensive linemen like the Eagles used to do with Andy Reid. They still do. And it works.
Yeah.
Kelvin Banks. I just said that he was the highest rated player left on my board.
Well, he
What
had
you
to,
just do though? What I mean, but why you had to get off the camera for the pick?
Yeah, man. You're gonna be standing up when the Bengals pick too.
That's why I ain't gonna be on this
Excuse
call.
me,
I'm not either. I'm gonna be by myself.
Let's go.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick, man. I thought some people kept saying they were going to reach on quarterback with the Derek Carr dudes. Glad they stayed to their board. That's
I actually had to get up to spill my drink. If I'm being honest.
that man was terrified.
Who,
Jackson Dart was on that screen. Spilled his drink.
That's the real reason he was cussing. He's like, no, please don't let it be this guy. Please don't let it be Shador.
This is way too high for Jackson Dart here. Way too high.
Way
Look, if
too
we
high.
give Jackson Dart the second round, I love it. But no, we can't take a quarterback right here. It's not a quarterback we're taking at number 9.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
love
say,
the pick of Kelvin Banks.
I was
He's the
gonna
highest
say,
player left on my board. They did pick up the option on Trevor Penning. They might move Penning inside the guard. Yeah, I mean,
hey Rob, so do we think that Jalen Walker will fall to the Falcons, or is this kind of like is it going to be?
it's a possibility.
Defense coming up, or
Let's see. I had Jalen Walker going.
'cause I don't know who's looking for
I
defense.
actually had Jalen Walker going right about now, 9, 10, 11, somewhere around that ballpark. So I think he should be coming off the board.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, now that Kelvin Banks has got drafted, I think Tyler Warren is the highest rated player left on my board. And I think Jalen Walker is the second highest rated player left on my board right now.
Can't get a tight end, Rob.
Is
You
it a
can
Dallas
always
pick?
trade
Is
for
it?
one.
Is it?
You know what I mean? Atlanta has a tight end. Right?
We got a tight end for you.
That's a good pick.
Hey, Gary, we got a tight end for you and a quarterback. We got Let me know. We got you,
We don't
Gary.
need a tight end. We got a lot of other things we need.
Yes, you do. Jason Witten. I mean,
No. They let the tight end walk out the door to Texas than Dalton Schultz. But Jake Ferguson is not bad. I mean,
Yeah, he's all right.
He's all right.
JQ, you missed the whole word.
Oh, I was
messing
gonna say, I
with
don't-
Gary because we're like
the Tyler Warren would
Yeah,
be a
it's my.
great pick.
Sorry, you messed up. It's my. You messed it up. It's my turn.
Sorry, my bad.
So you wanna roll.
I had to pee.
Colleen Wolf. Let's go. Who else can get a lady? Laura, whatever.
Laura Ruggles, baby.
Let's go. So, what did the Bears do? What did the Bears?
Tyler Warren.
Jalen Walker got a fall.
I think Tyler Warren is the highest rated player left on my board right now. With Jalen Walker.
Listen to me and listen to me carefully. Chicago has invested in that offensive line. If you give them Tyler Warren right now with Ben Johnson's play calling, you're basically giving them Laporta. Is what happens. You give them Laporta, and they're a problem. And then that NFC North becomes a whole problem, top to bottom.
See what they do.
Well, I just did a bunch
Come
of
on,
fantasy
Jalen
drafts, and I got Cole Kmet in a bunch of them, so I don't like y'all trying to destroy the
Listen,
money I've already invested, sir. Y'all gonna need to stop doing that.
Cole Kmet was Justin Fields' homeboy. He ain't that anymore. Sorry, I had Cole Kmet. He was fantastic with Justin Fields and only Justin Fields. You know I'm right.
Like that.
He's like, oh man,
You know
that's
right.
the truth, Dodge.
That's a big L right there for
That's the
me.
truth.
If that kid is drafted, I hope this doesn't happen.
No, you can go to the Killer Patriots and have Fernandez and Gronkowski together.
Look,
Like
he's
if you
crying.
put
He's
each
got
other-
to go to the Saints, so he's crying.
On another note, NFL just announced that they're going to be schedule release is going to be May 14th. Couple of more weeks. We'll
So
get
now I
ready
know
to
what week
start
I'm
planning
going.
out trips.
So now I know what week I'm going to Lambeau.
All right. Here we go.
Bengals at
The,
Lambeau this year.
pick is in for the Bears. We will see. Is it the highest rated player, Ty Warren? Excuse me.
Yeah,
for,
because he's going to be Sam Laporta. That's what I would do if I was Chicago. Once you take
Right.
3 offensive linemen off the fridge and Marcus, you're done with that. So now you're just getting Ben Johnson toys.
And they have a pretty good defense already, too.
Already have a pretty good defense.
And
And they
Johnson
re-signed a
is
safety
the,
and a cornerback.
Let's go. Let's see what happens. Will Johnson, let's go. Fuck, that's it.
I think it's
I'm
Tyler
messing.
Warren.
Let's go.
Oh, yeah, he died this week.
Yeah, Steve McMichael. Mongo.
Mongo.
Nice.
Yeah.
Rest in
Blazing
peace
Saddles.
to Big Michael, man. We watched him as kids, and then we watched him on wrestling even as kids. So shout out.
Yes, sir.
Wrestling.
Yeah.
I call it wrestling. I'm sorry. I can't help it.
Flows like Dusty. Whoa.
No, man.
Let's go, Junkyard.
I'm from the Midwest. I call it wrestling. Sorry.
Let's go. Whoever gets it first, call it.
The Chicago Bears selected one of Stephen Michael's teammates and closest friends, Walter Payton, running back, Jackson State.
Yes, yes.
Yep.
Walter would go on to rush for nearly 17,000 yards and 110 touchdowns over 13 seasons. All for the Chicago
Every
Bears.
pick? My God.
Call it damn pick, Roger.
No, he can use the hunter sweetness,
This is why folks hate you.
performance, and action, but also his commitment to give back to his community.
I can't call him what I used to call him out there. Marcy gonna send us a nasty
Yeah,
gram.
you can't say that now. You cannot say that.
Not now,
Oh, they took
not
Loveland over Tyler
Austin
Warren.
Loveland.
Bam!
Oh! What the hell's happening?
Well,
Damn,
Jay-
that's another tight end, fool.
I wish I would have.
Well, we said a tight end.
What
What we thought?
No, I'm still done on
That's
Cole
what we
Kmet.
thought. But what about
Those picks are ice. No, but Nate Tice.
Wow.
No, Nate Tice this week has been talking about he has Loveland and Warren on the same level, and he didn't understand why people were putting Warren above him. He went that far with it. So I was intrigued by that, but I didn't see this coming where he would be drafted first.
Listen, I watched too much Big Ten football. Did people watch what Tyler Warren did for Penn State? Like, he was their offense. Outside the running backs,
Yeah.
he was their passing game. He was their passing game.
Facts.
No, I had Tyler Warren rated
He
higher for
played-
sure. But I will say this:
running
I had
back?
Colston
Everything.
Loveland. I had Colston Loveland as my 11th best player in the draft, and he
Okay.
just took him at number 10.
Sorry, man.
So-
I'm just
But
I
I
almost
had
said
Tyler
something,
Warren
Marcy.
graded number 7.
Thank you, Marcy, because I was gonna say something explicit.
There we go.
Yeah,
So was Rob.
because damn
And is a lot of Warren's production kind of a part of that quarterback not being that talented and forcing the ball to Warren because
no.
he couldn't
Part
get
of
it
that talent
outside?
is because they don't have good wide receivers, and he is their best pass catcher.
Those guys didn't look that bad to me, man. I just don't think Drew out.
I bet
don't
you-
think that kid's good.
I bet
Go
you
ahead.
Penn State wide receiver go in the first round in the next 2 years.
Well, yeah.
But
Agreed.
thank you. But
They might have a
Thank
running back or two going the first 3 rounds. Next
Yeah, listen,
year.
I didn't
they don't
disagree
have
with- I
weapons
didn't-
on the perimeter.
I didn't disagree with that. I said wide receiver.
Yeah, I
Tyler
know.
Warren was their best wide. That's what was like.
Yeah.
They just
Like
throw it
I
to
had
the best
Tyler
guy.
Warren, the 7th best, actually the 8th best player in this draft. I had Colston Loveland, the 11th best player in the draft. So from a value perspective, it's not that much different, but I mean, I still like Tyler Warren slightly better.
Right,
Listen,
it's just a preference thing. It's just a preference thing. If they're that close, it's just preference.
They're scheming him open and not scheming the wide receivers open. That tells you all you need to know about their passing game.
Yeah, but the same way some running quarterbacks are one read and go, there's some pocket guys who, if it ain't over the middle or some little layered stuff, man, they can't hit outside stuff. I just don't think Drew Aller is good. Let me stop talking about that.
Yeah, no. Go talk about Drew Aller is trash, and I don't even understand why he gets all that love. Man, you playing at Penn State. You playing at a preemptive college. What? He's ass. I love it. Start Drew Aller again. Let Drew Aller stay for 7 seasons. I love it. I know.
Give him another coach.
Hey, listen. On that note, that's 10. I'm gone, y'all.
Oh,
All right, brother.
All right, y'all.
Is it time
Obviously,
for your
unlimited salary cap. So who knows what y'all can do right now?
It's Stanley Cup time. It's playoff time. Stanley Cup time, baby. Let's go. Let's go hockey. We gotta get more hockey in this.
All right.
Bye, y'all.
Gotcha.
I watch it, but the NBA comes before Stanley Cup for me.
Well, I don't know. They're running dead even for me right now. The Stanley Cups has been really good.
Yeah, all right. Just let me check the
thinking-
box score. Man, I ain't watching that.
hoping. Congrats, Nick. You appreciate it. I'm just curious if Jalen Walker can fall to the Falcons, because that I didn't see this happening. You know,
There's a chance.
I'm kind of secretly like, what?
We're looking at my board
Is
right
this
now.
happening?
Where did you have Warren? Who did you have Warren going to? Tyler Warren. Who did you have him going to on your mock?
Hey, Gary.
Trade up
Word on the
scenario
street is
for
that
Warren.
Shador Sanders is going to Dallas. Word on the street is that Shador's going to Dallas. Gary.
Jerry, don't do this.
Hey, great.
You look at the board right now. I got Tyler
Where did that
Warren, the
$50
best
million
player. I got Jalen Walker 2, Mikael Williams 3, Walter Nolan 4. Top 4 players left on my board. So we'll see how that shakes out.
Who did you have? Who did you have drafting him in your last mock?
Who was that?
Tyler Warren.
I had Carolina taking him, and they took McMillan. So
Yeah.
I kind of knew they wanted a big target for Bryce Young, right? So I had Carolina taking Tyler Warren at number 8, but instead they took McMillan, another big target. But yeah,
I mean, he
same
really
thought
was.
process.
He really was Penn State's offense. You know, I didn't see. I saw a few games. The games that I saw, he was out there. He dominated. He was special. If he went to Cowboys, I'd be all right with that.
With who? With Ty Warren? Tyler
Yeah.
Warren? You be okay with that?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay. I think we had said that. I don't know if you were actually a fan of that. Or Hampton. I know you like Hampton too as well. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Hampton would be. I'd be fine with Hampton, but you know, we need a defensive tackle. So
okay. I don't know what's happening. I'm
It's
holding
last
my
year.
breath here because I could have. I would have sworn that Jalen Walker would have been gone already. So I'm not going to say that, but this is interesting.
Welcome back to bringing back the San Francisco 49ers on the clock at number 11. We're looking at a situation where
Please don't give us a whole dissertation.
Somebody's going to trade up for Warren, man. I think it's happening. I think somebody's going to make a move.
Matthew Golden, he's still sitting there.
who did
I like Golden
I'm scared about that.
Rob? Who did you have as your top 3 or 4 defensive tackles
my top 3 or 4 defensive
in
tackles.
order?
I have Walter Nolan and Mason Graham as the top 2 defensive tackles in the draft, and Mason is already gone. Then you got to go to Derek Harmon from Oregon, then Kenneth Grant from Michigan. Those are my top 4 defensive tackles in the draft. I like Derek Harmon too. He was a pretty good pass rusher for tackle. Had 5 sacks last year at Oregon. which is pretty solid from a defensive tackle perspective on the inside.
It's gonna get interesting when these phone calls start being made. I know the Falcons are nervous as hell, man, because they're playing the ultimate game of chicken. They hoping somebody is so desperate they're gonna call for Kirk. Let's get it, man.
I still hope the case, man. Come on, let's go. Let's go.
Shoot, my Saints have might have to call for Kirk.
Honestly, for what? 10
He
million?
got hurt in the.
Y'all
in the
should do it.
game.
The San Francisco 49ers 2025 draft pick. The San Francisco 49ers draft pick. Back to you in Green Bay.
You're killing me, Smalls.
And speaking of the Stanley Cup, Tampa Bay Lightning lost again, down 2-0 to the Florida Panthers. I think that series is over.
Well, they're not going to be hanging anything in their rafters this year, are they?
I just got a text. I just got a question. The Sanders going to go to the Steelers.
What's that?
I just got a
Sanders.
message. It's Shadur Sanders going to fall to the Steelers.
Michael Williams. Oh, over Jalen Walker.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a matter of preference, right? I think Jalen Walker is going to be better in a 3-4 defense personally, as an outside linebacker in 3-4. And Michael Williams is a big defensive end. The 49ers lost a lot of personnel on that defensive line, right, in the free agency, right? So not a horrible pick here.
What are the
We thought he was going to go to the Falcons.
There's no
That
question
was the
about
guy
his
that kept
talent.
getting
I had him going number 10 overall. But, he had a lot of injuries this past year. There's no question about Michael's talent.
What about that Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M? Where did you have him going?
Oh gosh.
What do you got? What is it, like 5 career sacks or something crazy for him?
Yeah, he didn't hate that. They said that he just rushes and he doesn't really know how to rush. He just kind of like runs with the offensive lineman. He doesn't have any moves or anything like that, which is a good thing as far as it shows you his that's why his lack of production.
Well, get that technique down. You could possibly expect something. Because the 40 time
Yeah.
was crazy,
I'm
right?
just- Yeah. So Dallas is on the board. There you go. We'll see what happens, Gary. You've got options. You got Hampton. You got your tackle. You got Walter Nolan. You got Kenneth Grant. You have Tyler Warren. You got a couple different situations. You got to look at here. So,
offers to
yeah.
trade down as well, Dre.
Yeah. We got it.
Cowboys on the clock here. I just text one of my employees who's a big Cowboys fan, and he said the Cowboys are probably going to go with Matthew Golden or Tyler Booker. I think it's a slightly high for both of those players, in my personal opinion.
Pick is already in for the Cowboys.
All
Let's
right.
see what's happening, Gary.
My wife just texted me, said she sent us a question, but I don't see it on the board. Let's see.
I don't see it either. Did she send it on the chat?
It's also live on, I guess I need to pay attention to it. It's also live on my personal Facebook page. Wow, we got a lot of questions on
Yeah.
there.
I have the chat overlay over.
Oh, so my wife just
my wife
asked, so
will
do
keep us
you
in
all
check.
think that Dion's comments about not allowing his son to play for a team that he doesn't agree with going to have to draft his draft status? I don't think that's the reason why he's falling.
Tyler Booker, he called
He
it.
sure did.
Tyler Booker. Wow. You got your guard, Gary.
We need the help.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. He said Tyler Booker or Golden. Interesting.
This is not the usual Cowboys flash thing. This is okay. Let's get back to basics. Do the right thing here for Dak.
We were the first ones that started drafting linemen in the first round, and everybody made fun of us 10, 12 years ago. We were the ones that started.
Tyler Booker.
Make more like 15
Wow.
years ago.
He is running down the hall. Okay. So you got Miami and Indianapolis next. I'm curious what happens here. Like, what does the Dolphins need and what do the Colts need? We'll talk about that after we get Gary's reaction to this pick. We'll answer the question. Do we think that what were you saying about, was that Gina that asked the question, Rob?
Yeah, she was saying that she's wondering if Deion Sanders' comments about wanting Shedeur to play for a certain team is hurting his draft stock. And I don't think that's the reason, personally. And Deion kind of changed his tune on that. I just think their teams are just not in armor with Shedeur. I said I think he's the most accurate quarterback in this draft, but he doesn't have the arm talent. He doesn't have the ability to extend plays as well as a Cam Ward can or some of the quarterbacks that were in last year's
Well, he
draft.
doesn't, Rob, I take issue with that a little bit. He doesn't have the ability to take off. But with as much as heat as he's had on him all season, I think he was the most hit and the most sacked quarterback. And he was able to extend plays, but just not take off running. He would still stay within the confines of the pocket to buy his time.
Yeah.
He's kind of being punished. I don't think it's because of his father's comments. I think it's just the idea of one of the greatest athletes of all time, and your son's not athletic. So they're looking at it from the standpoint of like you was just saying, arm strength's really not there. So you're asking him to be just a really good sound technician. And to be honest, it's probably better for him to be drafted later, maybe to a better team, and not be put in a scenario where you expected him to walk in week one as a starter. Like, I think this is good. Like, yeah, let him drop somewhere where he can go in and just, learn.
He may wind up going to a better team too, like the Steelers or more, stable organization. And we talk if the Rams pick him and he gets to sit and learn under Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford for a couple of years, that's not a bad situation.
Either one of those organizations would be good for him.
Yep.
Either one of those organizations. For him to be drafted, 1, 2, or 3, like they were talking earlier, that would have been a disaster, really. Because they would have had
limitations physically. So he's going to need to keep Brady on FaceTime and, just constantly hone his craft. But, yeah, somebody's going to get a steal at the right pick for him.
You like the pick, Gary?
Yes, I do. We need the help. Absolutely.
Okay. I didn't know if you were excited or just like, okay with it, or you didn't really have any reaction to that.
I'm sorry. I'm watching TV. I guess I should be paying more attention right now.
No. Watch your stuff. It's fine. I think we've been on here for a minute. I mean, we'll probably drop off after we can after the topic. That's cool. Whatever you guys know. This has been fun for sure. I know Marcy. And again, if you want to answer your questions, Rob, you certainly can. That's time to do that. But it's been first time doing this. It's kind of cool that we can watch it live and comment. For sure. Go ahead.
Before Gary walks away from the Cowboy conversation, though, Gary, are you looking at it like, okay, this is clearly them saying, okay, we're not giving up on Dak yet. We're going to roll out for this next 1 or 2 years.
Well, they're not.
Dak.
Yeah, they're not giving up on Dak, and they, we lost an offensive lineman, so we got to go. We got to replace. We got to replace the talent.
Where do you think Miami goes with this, Rob? Is Miami going defense or offense with this, or what do you think?
Well, they still have 2 really good receivers here, right? And
Jalen Waddle.
They just lost Teron Armstead at left tackle. He retired, so that could be an option. I think they need some more help as an edge rusher too. So I think Jalen Walker could possibly be in play here for the Dolphins as well.
I want to hear.
So I could see Jalen Walker. I could see Malachi Starks possibly is in play here for the Dolphins too. Maybe even Tyler Warren, right? Give them another weapon offensively, They got an offensive-minded head
Yeah,
coach.
right?
Yeah.
Tyler Warren's still the
Jones
highest
still
player. He's still the highest rated player left on my board, with Jalen Walker being number 2. Walter Nolan 3, Matthew Golden 4, and Malachi Starks 5 right now.
Well, Miami is another situation where I'm saying, yeah, trade back if you can, because Miami has a lot of holes, man. This is not like a quick fix, and they're back to a couple of years ago. They were really bad last year. Everywhere.
Well, my thing was like they took some step backs. Obviously with Tyreek Hill, they proved they weren't a physical team. They were kind of a finesse team. So you do have to kind of figure out what's going to happen with them for sure, right? So, again, there's a couple situations I agree with Rob. I was just kind of curious as far as in a lot of the mocks where you had them kind of picking, was it more of a defensive or offensive situation too? Now things have adjusted because of what's happening. Because I'm scared about Tyler Warren, again, because he can play a lot of multiple positions, but is that what they're targeting? Same thing for the Colts. And I'm sitting here like,
Jonnu caught like 90 balls for 1,000 yards for him last year, man.
That's right. But yeah,
they got a lot of holes, man. So I don't know about Miami.
Any surprises so far, guys? Do we think there's any surprises or what? I mean, are we kind of think it's kind of going as is, Rob? What would you say?
Well, I don't think there's really any huge surprises, right? I mean, obviously we all have different opinions and things of that nature, but I think when you look at the draft completely, I don't think there's any huge surprises so far, right? Even the Mason Graham pick at number 5. I mean, there were several mocks that he had him going as high as 4. I mean, I didn't have him going that high in my latest mock, but there were some mocks where he was going that high. The Genty pick, Colston Loveland, I had him as the 11th best player in the draft. He went 10th, right? So I don't think there's a lot of huge surprises.
Okay.
Even Tyler Booker, I had him number 21. He went 13. And I think there were even some mocks where Tyler was going in top 16 or 17 in the draft too. So, yeah, I mean, I think there are some slight reaches, but I don't think it's a lot of huge surprises.
Well, this has been bothering me all day. I've been wanting to ask you this. You look at last
Kenneth Grant.
The next year's draft, is this draft just looking like one of those just one of those years, man? Just wasn't a great draft. Is that what we're looking at right now, as far as the talent and the depth of it?
I think there's definitely talent here. Top to bottom, it might not be as talented as previous drafts, but I think the top talent's the top talent. I mean, with the exception of the quarterback, I think the quarterback position. What was it last year? How many quarterbacks were picked? There was a shitload of them.
There were 6 in the top 12 last year.
Yeah.
And then after that, the 7th quarterback wasn't picked until the 5th round. Yeah. There was a huge gap after that top 6. And look, we've seen some drafts where, the year with Alex Smith was number 1 overall, the second quarterback 24 and Aaron Rodgers, right? So, we've seen some drafts in the past where there's been some gaps in the quarterback, right? And Aaron Rodgers turned out to be the better quarterback of the two, and he went number 24 overall, right? So, I just think there are a lot of teams that do not view, obviously they don't view Tyler, they don't view Shedeur Sanders as the top 15 pick in his draft, and I'll be shocked if he goes in the top 20. I think the earliest he'll go is 21. I don't think the Steelers have to even worry about trying to trade up for him if they really want him.
I think that's what maybe what they're counting on.
All right, so we're 13 picks into this draft, and if we bring out research producers, showing
Come on, this one.
All right, Rob. We got the Colts, and then what do you have the Colts needing here?
Hey, the Colts need some weapons on the perimeter. I think this is a perfect spot for Tyler Warren. I know they were also high on Colston Loveland too. I think this is a perfect spot for a Tyler Warren to go to. When you look at they don't really have. I mean, they have some solid weapons on the perimeter, but no one elite, right? So I think given an Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones, whoever the quarterback's going to be there, an elite weapon, to me, it's a perfect opportunity to go get a Tyler Warren. Which in your case,
they wouldn't trade up with us last year. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So that'll get a chance. The Falcons a shot at Jalen Walker.
Yeah, and the Colts have been doing tight end by committee for the last few years.
Tyler Warren, there it is.
Yep.
Perfect call. Good job.
Gronk Light. They call him Gronk Light.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Is he playing quarterback? Look at that.
Hey, I think they got some great value getting them where they got them for sure. I mean, that to me, that's a heck of a pick for the Indianapolis Colts.
Look at that catch.
Now you got to give JT in the backfield, Warren over the middle, the thing they've been missing, and you still got A.D. Mitchell and those other. I can't even think of my man's name, the tall receiver.
Ali Cox. Didn't Ali Cox play for them too? By the way,
yeah, he was
Ali
Cox.
Yeah,
he was on the roster last year. That tight end was hurting, man.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's a heck of a pick for the Colts.
Wow.
I think 2 years in a row
right,
they got steals on where they picked in the draft.
Now I'd like to see the Cowboys move up early in the second if Hampton is still available in the top of the second, which I don't think he will be, but if he is, I'd like to see the Cowboys make a trade and move up and get him.
Jalen Walker is not the highest rated player left on my board, so we'll see if the Falcons take him here. I know Andre.
I didn't think he was going to be available.
Y'all don't pick Georgia players. Huh?
Like I said, they had Mike Green, they had James Pierce, that they had Michael Williams. We didn't think Jalen Walker would be here, honestly.
Yeah,
but I don't know if he's much of an impact player, So I don't know what they're looking at.
I think it's a little high for Mike Green. I like James Pierce. I know JQ made.
I like James Pierce too.
I think James Pierce would be good value here too. If you take Walker or Pierce here, I think that's really good value. Walter Nolan's still on the board. I mean, you lost Grady Jarrett too, so I think Walter Nolan would even be a good pick here for the Falcons.
But Jalen Walker, he's like a joker. He can play a couple different positions, right? He can play.
No,
the guy that's got a little bit more
they were
versatility.
showing him a lot today on the TV. I was watching it.
You kind of like the versatility, right? Can he play this? Can you put him in there? Can he rush the passer? Can he, go sideline to sideline and get the running back? You need a player like that too.
He could be a poor man's Michael Parsons. He really can. He could be a poor man's Michael Parsons for sure. Now, I don't think as good as Michael Parsons, but he could be a poor man.
That guy was all over the field.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was all over the field.
He's only like 6 foot. He's only like 6'1" though, right? If I'm not mistaken, he's kind of shorter. If I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep, he's got good speed though.
But he's got long arms.
Yep. Walter Nolan could be in play here. You lost Grady Jarrett too.
I hope that we get like a defensive tackle a little later.
Yep.
And again, I know we're not looking at Will Johnson because he got hurt and I think he kind of pushed back that. But number one, I didn't think that Jalen Walker would be there. But then we obviously were looking at Mike Green. We were looking hard at James Pierce because we brought James Pierce into our for a visit. So I think they really do like him. I just didn't think they thought Jalen Walker was going to be here. So I guess now we got to figure out who's better between those two, right? And who fits. Wow. What are we going to do?
5 years,
Another drink?
Make it happen.
What?
Rob spilt another drink.
What'd you say, Naj? Who do you want, Naj? Who do you want, Naj? Who do you want, Naj?
Dude, I'm looking at 40 times only. That's all I'm concerned with. I just need somebody who has the athletic profile. We could coach him up and hope it works, but get an athlete.
James Pierce got the 40 though. That's the dude.
Shamir
Right?
Stewart. If you're looking for best athlete,
No,
Shamar Stewart.
no.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just replying to Naj's comment.
Evil on us. Don't you put that in.
No.
Shamar Stewart is the best
No.
athlete in this draft, probably, right? Well, I wouldn't say completely in the
That
draft,
dude,
but he's the best
that dude has
pure
no.
athlete on the defensive line in this draft. The problem is he only had 4.5 sacks his career in college, right? But as far as from an
That's a
athletic
red flag.
perspective, there is going to be a team that's going to take a chance on him in the first round of this draft. Mark my word.
Somebody
Bob, I
has
think
to
that's
do it.
where you flubbed up. I don't think
I just don't want that
That
to
dude's
be
an
us.
edge rusher, ran like a 4.40 as an edge rusher.
And then they look at his
It's
number.
just not us.
I hope it's Philadelphia. Oh, that would be great. And he just screws everything up.
Yeah. Philadelphia
Mike
hasn't made many
Mamula-
mistakes
Mike
in the draft the
Mamula.
last few years, though. You got to give them a lot of credit.
No.
I don't want them to have.
I
Don't
don't.
let them get them. I don't want that to. Man, their D line is good enough as is. Please don't let them.
Yeah, but he may screw him up.
Howie Roseman doesn't make many mistakes in the draft. I mean, they have been one of the best drafting. Well, that's why they won the Super Bowl, right? They made a lot of real good decisions.
They like it. Yeah.
Well,
And I think the
Oh,
Eagles.
I
football
won't use
stories.
the F-bomb, but to hell with the Eagles.
I think the Eagles going to look at offensive line or edge rusher in this draft as well, or defensive tackle. They lost some players to free agency too. So I think they will be definitely looking at defensive line or offensive line personally. The Falcons even got some corner options here. Jahdae Barron, I like him a lot.
No.
Texas. He can play inside. He can play outside as well. Will Johnson still on the board, even though there's some injury concerns with Will right now, so he may fall a little bit.
Just an aside, this has nothing to do with the Falcons. I think some of the Texas wide receivers may be undervalued because the quarterback play was so poor last year with your man Ewers. I think those guys are better than what we think.
I like Matthew Golden a lot. I think he's probably going to get picked sometime in the next, probably before 20. Seattle might
He
be
was
in play
4-4,
for it.
right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah Bond, is that the other kid?
Isaiah Bond, I got
Yeah, Isaiah Bond is good.
I think
but
Gal-
Matthew Golden.
Here he's in. Here we go, guys. Here we go, Naj.
Stand up.
I'm gonna mute myself because I don't want you to hear me. I have no clue what the Falcons are gonna do.
Well, I think you got
Falcons
the right
fans have no
mindset.
clue.
If the value is there, the Falcons are going to go defense, right? And
Mike Green,
I had the
Marshall.
Falcons go defense in most
Either-
mocks. I know I had
It's either the three.
Yeah.
It's either the three. It's either
Yeah.
Jalen Walker,
No.
Pierce, or Green.
In a few mocks that I did have the Falcons taking the wide receivers because the defensive value wasn't there, but the defensive value is on the board right now. You got Jalen Walker, you got Walter Nolan is on the board, you got Malachi Starks, you got James Pierce Jr., you got Jahdae Barron, Shamar Stewart. So you gotta, there's defensive value that's on the board right now for the Falcons.
Mike
Matthew
Green, Marshall. That's who they picked.
Wow. Did it come in already?
No. I'm sorry.
Stop it, Gary.
You
Man,
guys
you
can
got,
get
you
the
got
picks
me.
before
You
me.
got me. I was like, who the hell is?
Turn your mic off now so you can cuss me out.
We better not be no Shedeur Sanders. That would be like that
Why
would be odd
why
job
would that
every
be so bad?
2 years in a row. Huh?
Why would that be so bad?
Come on, Gary.
Why would
Like
that
he's
be
coming
so
back
bad?
to play with his dad. Like, we would have like a
But for all the laughter about
Oh,
our
God.
insurance policy last year, it worked out perfectly for us. So hey,
Here we go.
Hey, we just got a comment on the chat on my page. It said, "Don't be hating on my Eagles."
Listen, Philly, you won the Super Bowl last year.
Jalen Walker,
y'all
you
are
got
not
him.
underrated.
Jalen
People are not
Walker.
hating on y'all. Y'all got to get
You
used
got
to
him.
actually being the guys. Like, calm down, Philly. Y'all won.
There you go.
Baker, what happened?
There you go. You got your edge rusher.
Which one?
A poor man's Micah.
Which one did we get?
He's good.
Wow.
You see, if you want to spy him against Arch Manning, who can really run, he sucks him up like a little vacuum. So a big time player.
That's a good one.
It wasn't my receiver. Oh my God.
He's been running through the house. Man.
We got a defensive player. We got a defensive player. Oh my God. We got a defensive player.
Dre, I want you to put the word out there that we back up.
What's that? I didn't think it was going to happen.
We back.
I didn't think it was going to happen. I didn't think it was going to happen. I didn't think it was going to happen, Naj. I didn't think it was going to happen.
Get that pass rushing speed on that fast track in the dome. You know what I'm saying? That fast turf out there downtown. Yeah, man. We ready.
Update on best player available now. So Tyler Warren off the board. Jalen Walker is off the board. So Walter Nolan is the top-rated player on my board right now. Defensive tackle from Ole Miss. Then I have Matthew Golden, Malachi Starks, James Pierce, and Jadi Barron.
Who's your top player still on the board?
Matthew Nolan now is the top player on the board. I had him 13th. I had him actually as the 12th best player on the board.
Who drafted Warren?
The coach did.
Oh,
Hell of a pick for the coach.
Yeah, that's right. And you were right there, Rob, with these. You know, with these picks.
You made some money for some people this year if they follow. Yes, you made some money for some people.
1967. Clement is located about an hour and a half with good day with traffic away from Athens. This is the first time the Falcons have taken the Georgia Bulldogs. First
Y'all be easy, man. I'll catch y'all later.
Yeah,
They said
we're gonna drop off too as well.
They said it's the first time the Falcons drafted a defensive player in the first round since Vic Beasley.
That's what we said. That's what we said. That's what we said. That's what we said. I thought they were gonna say back. I thought they were gonna take us back to Takk McKinley, but that was pretty bad. But yeah, because we could have drafted T.J. Watt at the time. Yeah.
Find me later. Oh my God, I ain't. Anyway, y'all be good, man. I'll let y'all.
Good night, Naj. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining us.
Good night, Naj. Appreciate you guys. Hey, man. You know what? We're excited. We finally got a Georgia player that'll shut up all the people that don't like Georgia player or the thing we don't like Georgia players. Rob, I honestly didn't think Jalen Walker would fall this far. I was getting nervous whenever you were saying, Miami, whenever you were saying about a couple other teams, the Colts, but again, everything kind of works out. We got our Micah Parsons light. And like I said, I think everyone's texting me now to say nice picks and little things of that too, man.
Well, I mean, our job on this show is to be objective, but I know we're fans. But from an objective standpoint, it's a hell of a pick for the Falcons. But as a Saints fan, I hate it.
I know you do.
Yeah.
I know. It's like, but I get you. It's like whenever once the Saints got Kelvin Banks, I'm like, ooh, okay, they keep, because Ramchick's hired. He retired, right? Didn't Ramchick retire?
He didn't play last year either. So
yeah,
I think he was already kind of out of that plan.
But So you're like, okay, you're kind of watching what the division does. And I thought Jalen Walker was going to go to the Panthers. I'm like, this is the guy
Yep.
that the Panthers are going to get, right? I didn't even think he was going to even get there.
I thought Carolina was
So-
going to go for a big weapon
Yeah.
or an edge rusher. I agree. And I've had Carolina taking Tyler Warren. I've had them taking McMillan, who they took tonight. I've had them taking Jalen Walker in several mocks. So I think it was spot on. The interesting thing is when the Saints picked, the highest player on my board was Kelvin Banks, and that's who they took. And when the Falcons picked,
Yeah.
the highest player that was on my board was Jalen Walker, and that's what they took.
Yeah. We so you've been calling it on fire. Like I said, this is a great first show. I know we've been on there for a minute. I think I can't wait for us to kind of keep going next year. And just we've got a lot of great stuff on the page, and it's great. It's great to see you kind of calling it, and just everything. Like I said, is kind of went the way that you had projected, and as far as the rankings, and I know that's why I was asking if there were surprises. You're like, no, not any
No huge
surprises,
surprises
because this
so
player
far.
was So, I mean, Graham
There's
may have been a
Walter Nolan, the
surprise as
highest player on my
far
board
as
right now. Arizona just took him.
there it is.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Everything is going.
That's a good
There
pick
it
for
is.
Arizona.
We're
That's
excited.
a heck of a pick.
That
Great
is an
pick.
excellent pick for
Great
Arizona.
pick.
He was another one that was on my wish list for my receivers.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I watched a lot of tape on him the last few days. So what we do here is what we did. This was an experiment. This is our first time doing something like this, and we may have to, do a bit of a different format somehow. Maybe get more. As we get more viewers, we're going to get more people involved and asking questions and this sort of thing. But, but all of this is, especially with us going live like this, it's, it's a work in progress, but I'm happy with how it goes. And I'm just,
I mean, you're just what? Finish that
no, I
thought?
said it was uncanny where Rob had, because I've printed out a lot of the mock drafts. So, and I have them right
Oh,
here,
you're too kind.
right here. So I go through
Yeah.
them, and that's what I've been doing.
I got-
And I've been marking them, and it's he's got a very high draft grade. Now,
Yeah,
I'm
he's great.
only saying that because I want him to pick up the bill on Sunday. Sorry.
Gene and I hooking up with Gary and Arnetta on Sunday. I got it. I'll pick up the bill.
No, I'm just kidding you, Rob.
That's funny. I love it.
Great build up there, huh? No, but I really do. I have them printed out, and I've been going over and I'll continue through the whole draft and give you your draft grade per round on one of our
On next week's show, for those of you all that are watching this and listeners, we'll be on next Wednesday night. So stay tuned to Gary's Facebook page, my Facebook page, our Talking Sports with a 12-man Facebook page. We'll update you on what time we'll be live on next Wednesday night, but we'll be on next Wednesday night. So obviously we're going to recap the draft, right? So we'll talk about some draft grades and who we thought did well. Also, we'll talk. Obviously, we still have to talk about the NBA playoffs, a little bit about the NHL playoffs, but we'll squeeze that into a little bit too.
Absolutely, we've got NHL fans here.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, there's some great NBA series right now. I think this Warriors Rockets series has a potential to be a hell of a series. I think the Clippers and the Nuggets has a potential to be a hell of a series. I think the Lakers and the T-Wolves have potential to be a hell of a series in this first round. Now, look, OKC might sweep Memphis.
I thought OK wasn't gonna have a tough time with Memphis, but I also thought that Golden State was just gonna go in there and just do their thing because they're playing against a younger team that doesn't have that playoff experience, and Houston's playing tough.
They are.
They're
Ime
not
Udoka is one of
playing
the
like
best
a
coaches.
young team.
I think
They're
Ime Udoka is one of the more underrated coaches in the NBA. You know, he took the Celtics to the finals a few years ago.
Yeah.
You know, he probably deserves a lot of credit for building that Celtics roster too. And when you look at this Houston Rockets roster, man, they are deep. They're number 3 pick in the draft. Jeff Shepard doesn't even get in the game. I mean, they got Amon Thompson. I mean, he's becoming if he develops a jump shot, I mean, we can forget it, right? But they got some real dogs on that team. Alperen Sengun is already one of the best
Who
centers in
can
the
beat
game.
Oakland? I mean OKC. Who can beat
Yeah.
OKC?
I don't know.
Yeah. OKC.
And look, if
That's
I picked Golden State to win this series, I'm not convinced that Golden State's going to win this series anymore. I think they still can if Jimmy Butler comes back healthy, right? But when you look at this Houston Rockets in Game 1, Golden State got off to a huge lead against the Rockets in Game 1, right? But when you watch that second half, when Houston started to settle down and really attack, they made a run against Golden State. And if they were a
They
more
could've won that
disciplined team, they could have won that game. They missed a lot of layups. They just seemed like they were panicking and rushing, and they got so far behind. But that's a very intriguing series to me with that Houston Rockets. Now, if Jimmy Butler comes back healthy, you know, Golden State still has a real strong chance to win that series. But man, I don't think you can count that Houston team out for sure. Ime Udoka, like I said, I think he's one of the more underrated coaches in the business.
When you're
Man,
talking about OKC, not only do they have so much talent, that they got someone that would start and be, you know, great on another team, sitting on the bench, not even getting playing time. Look at how many draft picks they have in the next couple of years. Shit.
7 draft picks. I looked it up. They got 37 draft
How
picks.
many?
37.
30?
Yeah, over like the next 10 years, 37 draft picks. Yeah.
I mean, they're just going to be, unless something just
What is
tragic
JQ
happens,
Bengals going to do here?
they're going to be good for a long, long, long time. I mean, that was
Let's see what the Bengals do. All right, is Malachi Starks on the board for them, Rob?
I think Malachi Starks is definitely in play. I think
I know he wants
you may not
trenches.
want to hear this, but James Pierce, Jody Barron, I like him. Shamar Stewart, Will Johnson. The good thing is most of the Michigan players have been picked already, so Jake, you don't have to sweat. I think Will Johnson is the only one that's still left on the board that's going to go in the first round.
Will Johnson is sitting there. That'd be hilarious. Boy, he would lose his shit.
oh gosh. Wouldn't that be neat to have a camera in there? That would be funny.
He would lose it. He would lose
Shamar
it.
Stewart, there he is. I told you somebody was going to take him in the first round. Too good of an athlete.
And these fans like, yeah, they don't even know. They're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Look, he's a heck of an athlete. There's no doubt about it. He ran like a 4.40 as an edge rusher. Obviously, he didn't have quite the production you were looking for in college. I think he only had about 4.5 sacks. But, man, Shamar Stewart, it could be the most freakish athlete on the defensive line that we've seen probably since Myles Garrett. The only difference is Myles Garrett had the production to go along with his athleticism.
That's what concerns me.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the production?
Yeah, I'm concerned about his because somebody said he would just run into the offensive tackle, Gary. He didn't really have any like moves to try to like counter it and whatnot. So that's why it showed his production. Like if that dude had that much, like it kind of reminds you of like a Mike Mamula. You got all this talent, but then where's you can dunk a basketball, you can do all this stuff, but it doesn't translate to game film. So what's going on? I don't know.
That's where that offensive line wants you was right at him.
Yeah. We'll see. Who was the guy last year from Texas Tech, Rob? He was a big dude. Same thing. He didn't really – he was supposed to be drafted high too. I can't think – it starts – was it Tyra or something? Tyree?
Yeah. I remember you talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, same guy. What did he do? it kind of reminds me of the same type of situation.
It's only 1 year though.
True. I'm not gonna crap on him.
We got a comment from
right.
Merrill Williams, childhood friend, says Golden State won't win without Butler. No, I agree. They would not win without
I agree.
Jimmy Butler.
I agree.
Sure.
Yeah, I agree. We all agree that's going to be a tough task. I mean,
They may not
to
win with
overcome
Jimmy
for
Butler.
sure.
There's a chance.
I think they had more playoff experience because playoff Jimmy is good. I don't want to shortchange him.
No, he's. I thought
Houston is
I
young.
wasn't sure how it was going to work out, but it's
Yeah.
worked out beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, next week, gentlemen, we will be on the show Wednesday.
Yeah.
I know I gotta welcome somebody here that's gonna be coming in a little later, but it was great doing the show. We were on for about 2 hours and 25 minutes. Gary, I know the goal is to get a little better. This is still we're kind of building it as we fly.
JQ
We're
not
figuring
happy.
out how everything is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw that. Yeah. JQ is not happy.
My
Why not green? Oh. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to trade back in and get James Pierce. That's me, but you know,
You just
Or
drafted
Mike Green.
Jalen Walker,
that's,
man.
that's me.
And you,
I
and you
want
got,
more, man.
Leonard Floyd.
I want more. He's still there.
You want to take as many chances to make sure you get it right, huh?
You got to get it right, man. Why not? Especially if he drops, man. Just go get your dude, man.
Mm-hmm.
Go get him, please. Either Green or James Pierce. James Pierce, what he's supposed to be like a top pick, a top 5
At
pick,
one point,
going like
yeah.
whatever one in the season.
At one point for
So to
sure.
see him like drop,
I have him
Yeah,
as
I'm
I had
so
James
surprised.
Pierce as the 16th best player in the draft, and you know Jamar Stewart, I had him going. I had him at the 18th best player, and he got picked at 17. I don't think that's a huge reach for the Bengals. Mike Green, I had as 31 overall. I know JQ asking for Green, but I thought if I was picking, I would pick Stewart over Green too. Played against better competition. I guess the interesting thing here is just, Pittsburgh Steelers only a few more picks away. Do they take the biggest question marks for me in this draft coming into it was where Shadur Sanders is going to land, where Jackson Dart's going to land, and where is Will Johnson going to fall to? Because at one point he was considered the best corner in this draft. Obviously, there's some knee concerns.
Yep.
And also there's concerns about his speed too, right? Didn't run the greatest 40 time. But when you watch him on film, when you watch his film, it looked like he was the best corner in the draft. And so, I mean, so it's going to be interesting to see where Will Johnson goes. And I mean, technically, the only corner that's been drafted so far is Travis Hunter. So
Yeah.
I don't know if we can really say Will is
That's
fallen
interesting, Rob.
so far.
And
we'll see if. Go ahead.
I'm kind of surprised at that no other cornerback has been taken.
Ray Zabel, North Dakota State. I had him as the
Wow,
27th
there it
best
is.
player in the draft. Seattle takes him at 18. I never had him going this high. I always had him kind of going in that 23 to 35 kind of range.
Yeah.
But he's
Wow.
still considered a first round pick in my opinion.
Wow. Wow. What a night, gentlemen. Man. Well, Rob, we got some good stuff. And we're gonna see what happens. Keep the text line open. I know for all the show folks, we're gonna be texting, we'll see what happens whenever Shadur goes. So that's gonna be a hot take for sure. So but next week we're gonna have some fun. And that way I'll fix my my Wi-Fi. I've literally cut off everything in here. I've shut off everything on my computer. So it'll be a better signal next week. So good stuff.
Yeah.
You got to
All right,
upgrade that thing. Okay?
Those of you all that joined us and watched us on YouTube,
Starlink.
our Facebook page, even my personal
No.
Facebook page, I had it. You know, we thank you all for joining us and watching the draft with us on tonight. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. We'd love to hear some feedback on what we can do better if we do this again for next year. But next Wednesday night, we'll be back on live on our Facebook pages as well as YouTube. So definitely tune in. We'll do a recap of the draft. Got to talk about the NBA playoffs as well. NHL playoffs, a lot going on in the sports world right now. So A lot to talk about. So we'll definitely be back on next Wednesday night.
Let's keep it going. Good night, people. Have some
Good night.
fun. Until next time.
All right.
Enjoy. We'll talk soon.